Referee is Anthony Woodthorpe, rite of passage today for him, keeping law and order for the first time in an East Midlands derby. And on Premiership derby weekend, maybe the spiciest of the lot. And we're all about to enjoy it together again, to take the East Midlands thrill ride. Andre Pollard's first job back in stripes this season is to kick Leicester underway, and it's high and straight down the middle. And an opening test for Saints fullback and captain Furbank. Leicester in green, Saints in white, and in the white cap it's the hooker Curtis Langdon, who got up in front of the group this week as a debutant in this contest last season to tell the newbies what it's all about, and Langdon wants it again. Archie McParland, no Alex Mitchell, no Tom James, so the 19-year-old parachuted in. What a day ahead for him. Anthony Watson, hauled to the floor by Tommy Freeman. Nicky Smith arrived this season, his first East Midlands derby. Jack Van Portfleet, and then Joseph Woodward, 21-year-old, drinking all this in for the first time as well, helping to provide some width. And Leicester's chase for the ball, tigerish.
Nice little pass over the top, isn't it? Both sides trying to look for the sides. We've seen that all weekend, a lot of width in the games. This is a great chip and chase. And then they just do the right thing by staying on their feet, trying to get over the ball. Support has to work all the way back round to swing their bodies round to come through the gate. That's where the penalty arrives from.
You have what looked like a couple of sort of bog-standard run-of-the-mill phases in midfield from Leicester around the halfway line, but when it is run-of-the-mill, when the ball is quick once or twice, you just narrow up that defence, you narrow them in. Ideally, that produces space outside. That's exactly what happened, so it wasn't without method, that.
Julio Montoya, Leicester's captain again, led Argentina to an historic rugby championship. He's back in club colours, and he targets Chesham. Angus Scott Young doing all he can along with his mates to bring that ball to the ground, which they've managed to do. So Cracknell will reset. Jack Van Portfleet just pops it up for Liebenberg. Hands on the floor once more. Second Northampton penalty in quick succession at the breakdown. Sam Graham, the number 8 today.
Be good to see if they go for the tap and go here.
Let's options.
Yeah.
Let's go, please.
Any smart moves, you think, Flats, or just pure bosh?
Hurricane, here it comes.
Leicester peeling away to the left-hand side. Chesham gets it away. Van Portfleet stretching. Stewart there. What East Midlands derby dreams are made of. A try in the opening minutes and a try for Leicester.
Well, Freddie Stewart's first involvement in this East Midlands derby was to smash his opposite number, George Furbank, from the first kick-off, and this is clever from Leicester. They use a massive man on the ball, then throwing the pass in Chesham, so Montoya draws defenders, Chesham draws defenders. And if you got Freddie Stewart, yes, he's good in the air, we know that. He's also 6'5" and heavy, so you may as well use him near the line if you possibly can with a bit of momentum. So two excellent ball carriers who demand respect, suck in the defenders, give it to the big man.
Now try last weekend, the 4th and bonus point, securing one up in the northeast against Newcastle, and the opening try here. And Andre Pollard, who's been drilling that routine in the Rugby Championship, 7-0.
Yeah, as Hannibal Lecter said, he loves it when a plan comes together, particularly from the forwards. Nice little tap play. Actually, Northampton read it really well. He gives the ball a little bit too early, which leaves 3 defenders there. They're numbered up defensively, Saints 3 on 3. But as Flat said, he's such a good outside shoulder carry. He's got the size and the angle to get there. Saints straight back at him.
The ball wasn't gathered in by Wells, and Saints and Mania Yogan can pick up the pieces. McParland, Furbank, here's Josh Kemeny. Wallaby into the white-hot heat of one of these for the first time. McParland and Mayana Vanua continuing the drift to the left. There's Joe Hayes in with the thump, but Saints camped on the 22, and then a little flick through from the young scrum half, and in a very shallow in-goal area, Freddie Stewart had the wherewithal and the patience to let the ball dribble out.
McParland's a talented individual, obviously, played from the 20s, very quick around the base, but just a couple of things early on tells you that he's got inexperience. Little breakaway in his own 22 from where he should have taken his time, and that then another couple of phases. You don't need to rush that. No one else has read that. He's the only guy that's read it. He's kicked it too far. You can struggle with the execution, but also you can struggle as a young player playing in the East Midlands Derby for the first time.
But is it the wrong option, or is it an option that works if he has a call that he screams so Tommy Freeman actually knows about it?
It would have been, but there was two players in the backfield, so it's the wrong time. It might be happening later on, but someone's just got to get older and say, just pass the ball for a bit, mate. Take your time. It'll come.
First scrum, Leicester scrum. Told to get on with it. Picked up by Cracknell, who, when he's played so far this season, has been immense.
Yeah, there's big boots to fill, Jasper Visa, and he has got better and better, Cracknell.
The Saints recovered from the shock of conceding a try after 80 seconds against Harlequins last weekend. It took a little bit longer this weekend, but already they have work to do from behind. Furbank, Watson hunting him down.
Step, please. Thank you.
Finn Smith. Tommy Freeman did what he could to get onto that. Stewart again.
Kemeny felt that tackle, didn't he?
Did, yeah. Kemeny hit him hard. Tell you what, Freddie Stewart wasn't mucking about then.
Kemeny's got a stinger, hasn't he? His left shoulder.
Yeah, he's got one arm working, one hanging down.
Pollard, that's one for Hassel Collins to chase. That's a lovely kick, and it created problems. Furbank didn't gather cleanly, and Leicester have it. The quality of the kick, the quality of the chase. But Northampton have done well to dig in. Langdon. Leicester's first up defence at the moment. Up hard, up quick. Matt Everard, the defence coach, will be enjoying what he's seeing at the moment. Saints not finding easy routes out of their own 22.
It was a nice kick from Smith, wasn't it? But Stewart reads it really well and comes onto the ball at absolute pace. 18 stone. Now that is a big hit. Kemeny's a back row, and he's just been forced backwards by a very sizable man in the 15 shirt. I'm not sure whether Hassel Collins actually knocks this on when he touches it the first time. And it almost breaks for him. Do we see with his left hand? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he
just.
does.
Good competition. Good competition wins the ball.
Leicester line out.
Good competition. Out you go.
With Ollie Chesham hoping that he'd come down with it, he didn't, because Saints defensively, aerially were better. Hutchinson. He's given that a wallop. Stewart. There is a breeze tickling around. It won't be easy. We've had a bit of rain in the air as well. Breeze, whatever it is in Saints' favour at the moment, and running into it. Joe Hayes, head down, knees pumping. Van Portfleet. Freddie Stewart.
Do you think Stewart wants to play today against Furbank?
I was just thinking, it's more personal than ever, isn't it?
Do you think so?
Good job.
Van
Portfleet,
Portfleet.
wasn't it, from Furbank just now? Freddie Stewart.
That's great work. Chunyamunga over that ball.
Isolated holding.
Bit isolated, Watson, wasn't he? It's a nice move when it works, that little shoulder ball off the 9. But you've got to get defenders to bite in to make it work on this occasion. And this has been the story of Saints for me for the last 18 months. Brilliant defensively. Because normally, when you get someone like Watson running off 9 like that, he makes a lot of ground.
Saints throw, Curtis Langdon. A dummy throw.
It's one of those calls, you know,
Off a free kick. Dummy, off you go.
Nick, where you think if you watch the next 100 line-outs in any domestic league in the world, there are hookers doing that the whole time. I'm not sure they always get pinged. Doesn't mean he shouldn't be pinged for it.
Stewart off the free kick, goes high. Oh, and it's gone over the head and it's bouncing and Liebenberg's chasing. And well, for half a second, George Furbank was pushed in the back.
No, but Furbank was smart there because he knew he was there, so he fakes catching the ball, so he gets pushed in the back and wins the penalty. This is a little bit of simulation for me. Doesn't get near it, Freeman. Watch this now. He sees him, looks over his shoulder, takes his hands away. He actually knocks it on first. So that's the wrong decision. You can fake and take your hands away and not catch and get pushed in the back and take a penalty. What you can't do is knock it on, then get pushed in the back and take a penalty.
Well, we've been rifling through the law book early on here. A dummy throw and then a push. It's an education. Yep.
It's foot faults next for the hookers, but they're all at it.
To the front, and Kemeny quickly to McParland and Hutchinson. That gliding run of his, that threat as he cuts back outside. Langdon.
Leicester all offside. Advantage.
So Saints with the penalty.
Just think Leicester are really, really keen to get off the line. They're offside here, all of them, apparently. But actually, Curtis Langdon did it well. A couple of times Northampton have just got the ball just in time to put a bit of footwork on that man flying out the line. If you can get past him, which Langdon did then, past Cracknell I think it was, and you can get that ball away to somebody on your shoulder, that Leicester defence is bang in trouble. At the moment, yes, Tigers are offside then, but at the moment they are swarming them.
The Saints have rebalanced very nicely from the concession of the early try, and look how close they are now with this attacking line-out. Langdon to the front once more, and Kemeny, and to Langdon, and he spreads it wide, and the charge from Freeman. Very nearly there. Up to the line, it's spun loose. How did it spin loose?
He's scored, hasn't he? Graham scored here. I think it's in one reach.
So I think he's lost it forward into in goal.
I think the same. Just need to check if he does or not.
Just check it. Okay, so Jacko, on-field decision is no try. We think he's lost it forward into in goal. Just tell me what the restart is, please.
Yeah, no worries, we'll take a look.
Montage is asking about the blocking line that's run on the outside by Litchfield. I don't think we'll go back to that, but he's down. Does he reach?
Yeah. Ooh. Andrew Jack is the TMO today. Graham.
I think he propels himself with his foot there. His right foot. Watch his right foot go down. He's stopped moving there. He puts his right foot in the turf to move forward a little bit further.
Well, you can't see the right boot there, and on the last angle you couldn't see his hand. You couldn't see the ball.
It's tight. We actually can't see the footage clearly because the clock and the score is in the way.
Well, the decision, remember, is no try, which is critical.
So I think the key here, Nick, is his right foot. He's stopped short here. Then he puts his right foot down there to push forward again. And does he do it one more time with his knee?
It's the grounding the TMO wants to have a look at.
Well, if it's just the grounding, then the TMO must think it's okay, propulsion-wise.
Yeah, stay with your on-field decision. It's a knock-on in goal line.
It was the hands rather than the feet in the end that cost Sam Graham, who was that close.
Goal line drop out. Behind the ball.
Number 8 is coming, eh? Number 8 is coming. Number 8 is coming. He's coming.
So drop goal could be on.
Bouncing kick. Smith. Graham. Brought down by Tommy Raphael.
Time off.
Yeah, I just thought it was a hell of an impact that from Tommy Raphael.
And Sam Graham in a lot of pain.
It'll be cleared up if there's anything wrong with it. At the moment, we've got an injured
immediately
player.
you see that and you think it's a massive shoulder impact on his
wide.
knee. You
Gonna
really,
restart
really
with
hope.
the
Well, I'm
scrum
really
to
hoping
Saints.
that's a horrible dead leg rather than the shot on the knee.
Well, the replay's not a pleasant one, so we are not. We're not going to show you it, but safe to say it's potentially
I think he just gets caught.
worrying for Sam Graham. It's been a spirited response from Northampton, however.
It has, but what else do we expect? I think they're one of a good number of teams in the Gallagher Premiership now that pretty much, regardless of what happens to them on the field, they rip back into you. Bristol will count themselves among that number, Surrey's among that number, Bath among that number. It's a lot of very resilient teams, hard to beat.
Well, our Sunday afternoon of rugby kicks off in Ealing tomorrow with the Trailfinders set to play their first ever home game in the Women's Premiership, on air at 12:30 with Loughborough, the first visitors to West London. Gallagher Premiership's Derby weekend concludes a few miles away, a couple of hours later, with Harlequins and Saracens reheating their rivalry at the Stoop. And we will round up this rugby weekend with the rugby review tomorrow tea time. And I'm sure you know by now, but every game in November's Autumn Nation series is with us here on TNT as well.
You okay, Jacko?
Kicking off with England against the All Blacks. But England and Wales and Scotland and Ireland and France and Italy, in every game, if it's happening in the Autumn Nation series in November, you'll see it here with us on TNT Sports.
Woody,
Yeah.
there is foul play involved in this, so 7 Green is already on his knee when he makes this tackle, but we cannot show you the pictures on the big screen because we can't show the footage of this.
Because of the injury.
Correct.
Okay, so we got foul play.
Yes.
So the player is on his knee. So what we're going to do, do you want us to formally talk through this, yes?
Yes, please, yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to show the footage because of the injury. So, Jacko, can you describe to me what happens, please?
So
sure I've ever
7
seen
is
this before,
on,
or
on
not
his
seen it.
right knee just before he makes the tackle.
Yeah.
He is making an otherwise legal tackle, so there are arms involved. He wraps, but he's already off his feet when he makes the tackle.
Okay, so the
not
tackle's
heard that
illegal because he's
before.
on his knees.
Correct.
So we're looking at foul play. We're looking at least a yellow card.
Yeah.
Anything else to add? Do you think we need to be more serious?
No, those are the facts. So I would
Okay.
stick with the yellow card.
All right, so we can stick with the yellow card. So I'll get the captains in to explain this.
This is going to take some explaining, Nick, because we've asked players to drop their height.
Yeah.
You drop your height as low as you possibly can and you get penalised for it.
Tommy?
Sorry.
So the tackle is illegal because he's already on his knees. Tommy, you're the man who made the tackle. It's 7 Tigers, yes?
Correct.
Okay, so he's on his knees and he has made the tackle, so it's an illegal tackle and it's a dangerous action, so it's going to be a yellow card.
I have a question. If even though like he wrap and he
So we understand it's a wrap, but he needs to be on his feet to make a tackle, not on his knees. So it's a yellow card. Yeah. That's why it's a yellow card. Yeah, that's why it's a yellow card. You've got to be on your knee, off your knee.
I understand the foul play. If you're on the floor and you make a tackle, completely fine. But he wasn't already on the floor. He went to the floor to make the tackle. That's not the same.
I think we've got to be careful here. I think your first point was a really interesting one, was that the whole notion at the moment around player safety is bringing tackle height down.
Yeah, agreed.
And you can't just have people chopping people's leg without wraps and all that sort of stuff. And Tommy Raffel said to the ref then, I wrapped, and we are told he did wrap.
Yeah.
And you're now penalising players and sending them off the field
Okay, thanks, Jack.
because they're going too low.
I wonder if that would have been a yellow if the injury hadn't have happened to Sam Graham.
Definitely not.
So it's as a result of what happened. The consequence of the tackle has impacted on the fact that it's a card and the fact that it's a yellow.
First and foremost, let's hope Sam Graham isn't too badly injured. It doesn't look very good at the minute, but let's keep our fingers crossed for him. But ultimately, if you're trying to drop your height and get really low, your knees are going to go on the floor.
The injury was caused by foul play.
Especially if you're trying to get forward propulsion into the tackle, which he did.
Just wait.
Well, the whole issue confused by the fact that we can't show the replay. We just can't show the replay because the injury is horrible, and Sam Graham wouldn't thank us for it.
I'm glad we haven't showed it.
Yeah.
Don't want to see it. Desperately keen that he's okay.
Well, that's a talking point. Maybe one for rugby review tomorrow tea time. with Craig and the boys and the girls. More importantly, right now, it's created an issue for Saints at 8. Joanna Augustus missing at the moment. Lewis Ludlam playing for Toulon these days, and that's gone missing as well, and Pollard will happily wallop that downfield. Freeman underneath it, a lot of green grass in front of him.
Keep retreating!
And now he chases his own kick. Pollard had come across, Freeman got there, went forwards. Leicester will have the scrum.
Just must have taken his eyes off it a bit there, because there was no real competition from Andre Pollard. He was happy to sit on the deck. He just took his eyes off it last second.
Tries to catch it above his head. He didn't need to. He had more time, didn't he? Looking forward to seeing what he can do in an England shirt this autumn as well.
Sam Graham's been replaced by Henry Pollock, by the way. He's such a young star, Premiership player for very nearly a year now as well, after his debut here in the defeat last November during the autumn tests, but his Northampton future stamped in long term, you can be sure of that. Kemeny barking his head off. Parland and Van Portfleet, but it's Saints who concede at the scrum, David.
Again, it's knee touching the floor. I think I said this last week. The odd knee on the floor, if the knee hits the floor and it destabilises the whole thing and everyone falls over, fine. But these guys are trying to get as low as possible without slipping over. If your kneecap grazes the floor and you're straight up again, I kind of think it's a great battle that. I'd have left that going myself.
We need to mention the kick as well at some point from Pollard, which...
Welcome back, Pollard. Off the 5-metre line, he's made, what, 50 metres?
In fairness, his elbow's on the floor for a while before his knee, so...
That's not a knee, it's an elbow, yeah.
Knee and an elbow. Done the double.
And then the boot of Pollard to take Leicester to where they are, and Montoya. Chesson calling the line out to himself. He smuggles it to Cracknell. Montoya works his way around as well. Now the Argentinian has it tucked under his left arm. Kemeny has to get away from that. Van Portfleet has got Chunya Munga to work around. Munga has to give it up. And Leicester building some momentum here. It's Northampton, Pat, without the power of Sam Graham at number 8.
Ball's got too deep in the maul, though. It's going to be difficult to get out now.
Oh, it's been dropped, and McParland comes away with it, and he's sprinting, and so is Stewart, and Stewart in the end was relieved to see that angle away, but an opportunity lost for Leicester.
An opportunity lost, but actually really good destructive defence from Northampton Saints. Getting in and amongst, inside and underneath, just splitting Leicester when they didn't want to be split. They really want Northampton's efforts to compact them a little bit, drive Leicester together, squeeze them in together. They didn't do that. They picked off guys individually and split those gaps.
Shorten Leicester line out with Ollie Cracknell and Nicky Smith standing off. They're having problems winning their own ball at the moment, Leicester. Smith, that's a nice one, looking for James Ram. Not really mentioned him so far today, but Ram now very much involved, and he finds Furbank, and oh, that was important. Stewart got back. Otherwise, Leicester's door would have been vulnerable.
It's all about Freddie Stewart, that his ability. Missed the first tackle, bounced back to his feet and got back in the defensive line. It's amazing how losing your England shirt can focus the mind, isn't it? But we'll see it now. I mean, he gets to the outside, he reads the crossfield kick, which, by the way, from Smith was absolutely spot on. See, he reads it in the backfield, he blitzes, but gets there, gets stepped because he's coming from so quick, bounces back to his feet, and now sees the inside, gets his long arm in the way. Otherwise, you stay on the floor admiring the grass there, you concede 7 points.
I think Hutchinson scoring that without Freddie Stewart. As it is, Saints still banging away impressively, trying to find an equalising score. Ram somehow found its way to Tommy Freeman. Freeman skipping through.
Jacko, just clear up how that ball.
Yeah, looking at it, yeah.
Extended contract this week. Saints knowing what he's all about in the years going forwards, but right now scoring more tries. Tommy Freeman.
Well, the build-up was fantastic. Strong from Pollock. Players making late decisions, options at the line, pulling it out the back. James Ram in the right place. That's where it should have broken down. Then it becomes a one-on-one. It's brilliant from Freeman. It's a horror moment for Ollie Hassel-Collins. That's a try that was finished excellently by an excellent finisher, but ultimately shouldn't have been scored.
This angle will tell us it's a knock-on, isn't it? I think Furbank's right hand touches the ball.
Okay, time off. Just time off.
Yeah, it's being checked. The pass from Ram and then that from Furbank.
I think it's a knock-on. This angle's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's forward from Northampton.
Try that wasn't scored. Shouldn't have been and wasn't.
I think the only thing you can say there when you're a Saints fan watching that replay back is, does Stewart's right hand knock it forward, outstretched, into Furbank's hand, that then knocks it on? If it does, arguably it's a penalty to Saints.
Good contest. Then the Lucid goes down to floor.
Well, Saints might have had two.
Here we go. You might see now. Does his right hand touch it on this pass? I think it does, you know. I think he touches it into Furbank's hands and then Furbank knocks it on.
That is tight. We need a super slow-mo.
I'd use my right eye.
First Sam Graham and now Tommy Freeman. Both denied, but both so close to getting Saints going in this derby, at least on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Not as many points as we saw this afternoon, but still as much excitement. So much going on out there.
It's this area that Leicester absolutely bossed last November. Saints in the end last season ended up conceding 20 penalties, most of them at the scrum, and some early indication here that Leicester have got the early nudge.
Hey, we said you bring a player like Julian Montoya back into the squad, back into the team. It's massive. Here you go, just watch him. He's working against Elliot Miller-Mills on the tight head for Northampton Saints. So it's not just tight head against Lucid. That man there, he bears down on him. He makes it a 2-on-1. Joe Hayes looks super aggressive as well, inspired by having a legend next to him in the front row. Makes all the difference. Powerful stuff.
Miller-Mills, by the way, first game for him this season. Trevor Davison is on the bench.
Through the mark.
Cracknell. Van Portfleet. Scott Young coming in. Still Leicester ball. Liebenberg away very quickly. Made back by Cracknell. Chesham. Curtis Langdon throwing himself around enthusiastically. Stewart. He's hauled to the floor by Kemeny. Cracknell again. Leicester just making an extra step or two through each of these breakdowns.
It's just that little bit of leg drive after contact, that little 18 inches or so, all that makes all the difference. But what it does is, if you're making ground consistently, the defence panics a little bit and they try things. They feel like they need to try something different, which is exactly what happened there, because straight up hitting you isn't enough. So you try and be extra disruptive in a different way, and you risk giving away pens.
Well, Leicester may have lost Jasper Wiese's carrying prowess this season, but others are definitely picking up that responsibility. Second behind Gloucester in the post-contact meters made over the first 3 rounds, and those post-contact meters are testing Northampton at the moment.
They are, and a couple of little silly mistakes as well. Pollock here kicking the ball through. Just see his right foot there come through. There's the penalty. What I like about these under-20s, they all seem to be very vocal, very confident. We've seen it across the league this year. A lot more of them getting opportunities. And he's an exceptionally vocal player.
Side, good contest, and then we've got both props going forward, and then you've got Lucid collapse at the end. Yeah, thank you.
Andre Pollard, Leicester 10, Northampton 0. I suspect that James Craig has got a fair bit on his plate at the moment as we have a chat with one of Northampton's coaching team. James, I don't know whether you'll know, but I've got to ask you about Sam Graham first of all. Do we know how he is?
No word on Sammy at the moment. It obviously didn't look like a great injury. There's a lot of force in it, and his knee didn't get into a particularly nice position. So no news on him at the moment, but yeah, it didn't look great.
It's been a strange game so far. You're 10-0 down, but not playing that badly, it would seem, at least from our point of view.
No, I mean, it's been very, very stop-start, hasn't it? Clearly, that probably suits Leicester. It doesn't suit us. We've obviously got to try and find a way to make sure the game flows a bit. So simple things like getting our breakdown right, not conceding penalties at set piece, making sure we win our own line-out ball. That will allow us to get a bit more speed in it. And that's clearly the way that we want to play. Probably not the way that Leicester want the game to go.
Just talking a little bit about the post-contact meters that Leicester have been making all season, and they're making a few at the moment in this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're a decent crew, and they've clearly improved some of their elements of their attack, which when you give good players decent one-on-ones, they're going to make good meters. So fair play to them. They've definitely added a bit of an attacking element to their game, and they've got some good carriers in that pack in particular.
Real. Thanks, James. Meantime, Saints in attack with Furbank initially. Oh, and now McParland, and he was very nearly through, and it took an important tackle to stop him, but still the threat. Furbank, oh, that's gone forwards. And Saints just dropping the tea tray when they get close to the try line at the moment.
He almost got away, McParland, didn't he? It's got an injury to Montoya. I don't know, they just got a boot in the face trying to get him with a tap tackle. You've got to be super tight at the breakdown, and the first defender here sells the dummy, gets through. What happens to him? Couldn't see anything there.
Boot there. No foul play for me. Jacko agreed.
But they are getting the ball out the back really well, Saints, at the minute, particularly around the midfield area. One or two of those passes stick.
It's the biggest arrow serve his young life, Austin, right now. Archie McParland, no Mitchell, no James, as we've said. He's still only 19. Been a real star for England's under-20s recently. He didn't actually play his part in the Junior World Championship triumph over the summer because he was injured, but well, he might be third choice at Saints right now, but no doubting his potential.
He's looking sharp. That was super sharp. It's Tommy Raffel just back from the yellow card, who actually missed him on the inside. Then he went in between Montoya and Tommy Raffel. It was very sharp, and Oz is right. If effectively, if he tries to overplay his hand because he's nervous or he's super keen to impress, doesn't necessarily work. If he just passes, what happens is the defence, that guy included, one of the best defenders in the game, will just get into the rhythm, the habit of expecting him to pass and just moving on out towards the first receiver, and they won't expect him to run. Then he can catch him out like he just did.
By the way, we are underway in Riyadh now, across on TNT Sports box office. Beterbiev and Bivol going at it later for the undisputed world light heavyweight title. I think the ring walk's around 11 o'clock. First time all four belts have been up for grabs in the light heavyweight division for over 20 years, and they are working their way through a really tasty undercard on TNT Sports box office right now. Montoya coming off what we assume will be an HIA as Charlie Clare comes on. 99th time as a Tiger. He played 13 games. Saints fans will remember for them as well 6-7 years ago.
I think I just saw Montoya saying to the medics there, it's not an HIA. Is that right? It's not an HIA. So maybe it is, but I think he's thinking he doesn't need an HIA. He's just got a stud in the eye by accident, or we'll see.
Stitches, I think.
Many a yoga. Long years of Alex Waller occupying that shirt in this fixture over, and it's a Yogan against Joe Hayes now, and Nicky Smith for Leicester against Elliot Miller-Mills. And between them the hookers, Charlie Clare and Curtis Langdon. And a Leicester scrum for Jack Van Portfleet to feed in. Liebenberg suggesting it went down on his side. McParland strongly repelling Cracknell. Clare took it up. Unfortunately, digging into this season. Described the last one as the hardest of his young career so far. All the the injuries that he had, losing his England place as a result. But
both props down
he's another one of those young players with so much to play for over the next few months.
He looks like he's quite enjoying himself. I think actually James Craig was right. Northampton want this game to flow. They want phase after phase, attack after attack. Leicester are making everything a fight.
And James Craig, the line-out coach, will have enjoyed what he just saw there. Kemeny palming it down neatly. Here's Tom Litchfield, the challenger, replacing Fraser Dingwall in Saints midfield today. Hutchinson, no-look pass, and Smith beautifully away to Furbank. And Saints, when they pass the ball through the hands, purring at the moment. And again, Smith whips it away. Here goes Hutchinson to Ram. Comes back infield, looking for some space. Not much around at the moment. Dan Kelly working hard with Langdon. Still Saints ball. Angus Scott Young. McParland goes the other way. Nice and flat for Hutchinson to run onto. Yogan. He takes on the shoulders of Hayes. Leicester think they've won it back, and they have. Well, it was the initial tackle from Hayes, but look who comes up with the ball.
Well, it was that variation when McParland was called to throw it back right, back to the blind side to Hutchinson. I just wondered if Northampton would recover their shape from there. That was a player, I think, going against the grain, trying to do something different. Left Eigen isolated ultimately on the next phase.
Yeah, what I like is about Furbank is his timing. Look at him in the backfield. He's just going, he's gliding across, and he knows where he wants to get to. But they're man marking him. JVP has been following him for the last 10 minutes. Wherever he goes, JVP's in the backfield. There's the turnover. It's too open, easy for Rafael. But Furbank makes most of the big impressions in the backfield for the Saints. So one way to stop that is for just have one guy follow him for the whole afternoon.
The sky is starting to darken in the East Midlands as Pollard finds Kelly and Hassel-Collins. Ball went backwards on the bounce to Watkins. And Watson lays it back. Rafael. Munga taken out of it by Smith. Kelly. Liebenberg. Chesson. Once again, just look at Leicester and the ground they make after the tackle. Smith still stays on his feet. Bonus 2 or 3 meters. Pollard. Oh, that's nice, and Woodward very nearly cottoning on to Anthony Watson.
Just give the scrum, just give the scrum. The guys run past him.
He's in line, is he?
Yeah, the guy knocks it on, runs past him.
Just a scrum. Just a scrum.
Austin, we wondered a little bit about Leicester's attack
Just a scrum.
last season. They were not allowed Alan Dickens as their attack coach. They brought in Peter Hewitt, former London Irish fullback, the Australian. There are just signs, certainly last weekend up at Kingston Park, that it's beginning to flow. You're starting to see a few more shapes.
Yeah, and I think with Pollard being there and rekindling that partnership with Van Portfleet, I think it can only get better, but everything's outside shoulder, everything's got a nice outside shape to it, which I actually prefer. I know a lot of sides like to run short lines, but if you watch them, they're making more meters because they're carrying all the time outside shoulder, not directly into bodies.
Well, Leicester again putting the squeeze on at the scrum, but doing it illegally. Going down on Nicky Smith's side.
I'll tell you what, it's not often you see a scrum that aggressive concede the penalty. They absolutely piled into Saints then, or tried to. Nicky Smith on the far side there, on the left-hand side. Oh! He's gone for him. That's a tough pen, that. I'm with Michael Checker on this one.
He's throwing himself in the air there. Doing just enough to get Fijian fingertips on the end of it. Tommy Freeman rolls around to this right-hand side to offering himself. Finn Smith held up by his opposite number. Saint got it down. Mayana Vanua, Furbank. Oh, that's a bit loose. And Van Portfleet comes away with it for Leicester. Watson. Stewart. James Rand. How dexterous was that? John Yamunga.
Enough now.
Finn Smith. Taken by Hassel Collins. Stewart.
Retreat!
No messing around. One of 4 Tigers away with England at the start of the week. Jack Van Portfleet, Dan Cole, Ollie Chesham. Unusual start to Derby week. Fraternising with the enemy. Or is it 6-7 Saints as well? George Furbank would have been one of the England Saints as well, of course. Julian Montoya has rejoined us. We'll see more of Charlie Clare a little bit later. Saints throw, Langdon to Kemeny. Started every game so far, Kemeny in a Courtney Laws-shaped hole. Use it! Just the one try, scored after 2.5 minutes by Freddie Stewart. Andre Pollard with the penalty, but Leicester looking for more here. That looked like it went forwards, but Leicester get a go with Kelly and Stewart. He was on his toes this evening.
Agree.
Cracknell. Tackled by Henry Pollock, who, if you weren't with us earlier, Pollock on for the injured Sam Graham. A horrible knee injury. Harry Wells buffeting his way through. Loses the ball in the process. Mayana Vanua, and then Hutchinson does well to hold on to it.
Just a penalty.
Andrew Jack, the TMO, looking to see if there's more than just the penalty to come off that tackle. And they'll have a little bit more time, the officials, to check it.
But Jacko, I want you to check the contact on Tigers 4, please, by Saints 2.
Woody, we're going to need to review this.
Yeah, it's Curtis Langdon and Harry Wells.
Hold on, Ollie, thank you. How many? Hold on. Go through Jillian, please. Okay, so we have a penalty for a high tackle on Saints, just a penalty only, but we're checking the contact of 2 Saints on the second row for Tigers, please.
Oh dear. There's a change of direction as a mitigation, but it's head on head. It's going to be a yellow card, isn't it? No more.
He's almost lucky, I think, that Harry Wells does change direction, because he's gone for him, hasn't he? Well, actually, he hits his own head on Harry Wells' shoulder.
Then his shoulder into Harry Wells' head. I think it's a yellow card.
I'm seeing foul play. Got a player who's upright, he could be lower. I'm seeing a high degree of danger as he's coming forward, but I'm then seeing a late step by force. So I'm on a yellow card here. Do you agree?
Totally agree.
Okay.
Well, it's a fixture that's provided no fewer than 7 red cards down the Premiership years, most recent to Leicester's Solomon Akata at the Gardens last April. And we've had 2 yellows in the opening half an hour or so here, latest for Curtis Langdon.
So it's just in the Northampton half, about. Keep going, Woody. Keep going. Yeah, Woody.
High tackle, high degree of danger, but a late step, yellow card.
Curtis Langdon has started all 4 games for Saints so far this season. Sam Matavesi's moved on. Sky's getting angrier and angrier above Mattioli Woods Welford Road, and Leicester still hunting for what would be their second try of this half. What are you pointing at?
See Sam Graham in a knee brace, just on his crutches, making his way around the field at the bottom end.
Yeah. At the other end, Julian Montoya spins the ball around in his big South American hands and rifles it towards Chesham at the front. Van Portfleet. Russell Collins tipped up but laid back. Cracknell.
Tackle off the ball by 13 Tigers.
Dan Kelly is Leicester's 13.
Takes the player away from the breakdown, a long distance, and to floor.
Assistant referee on the far side is Greg McDonald, who picked that up.
11. Takes the player away from the breakdown, a long distance, and to floor.
Sympathetic applause for Sam Graham. We're hearing it's a dislocated knee.
Sometimes that cannot be too bad, Nick, compared to some of the other stuff you can do in there. Fingers crossed it's not too long a layoff.
Lewis Ludlam, by the way, in Paris today for Toulon against Racing. Lost the weight of Ludlam, of Laws, of Alex Moon. We're telling you things you know, but they could really do without losing the likes of Sam Graham today.
They could, and they could do without losing the likes of Curtis Langdon for the next only 10 minutes, I know, but Leicester are making a fight of everything at the moment. Everything is a contest, and he's one of their top scrappers.
Forward, never retreats.
Sam Graham too, wish him all the best.
21.
Once again, Archie McParland, the third choice scrum half. Mitchell out, James out. You want to come into fixtures like this fully loaded. It's fair to say that Saints in particular aren't today.
Yeah, and if you're going to come in as a young kid, you want to come in as the only one. With 14 old dogs around you is what you really want.
Anyway, Leicester have no time for sympathy. Stewart, oh, that's nicely done. Ooh, that not so nicely done. And Litchfield amongst the chasers. And this is young Joseph Woodward, 21-year-old. Another one of the youngsters dealing with all this, drinking all this in for the first time.
Retreat, fellas, retreat.
Pollard not so young. Freeman ran up in support. Freeman straight down the middle to set up a position that allows Saints to go right or left. And Smith hustled by Van Portfleet.
Offside.
Penalty against Kelly.
Yeah, I'm watching them. 13.
Joseph Woodward.
Always advancing
Starting
forward.
an East Midlands derby for the first time. And there who he's next door to, Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly still only 23.
Shot
Feels
calls.
like he's been around for decades.
There's 2 penalties on the trot from him, though. He just needs to slow it down a bit.
Talking of Leicester absentees, we've done a lot of Northampton absentee talk, but Leicester without the Wallaby Isaiah Parisi today. He's got a head injury. Solomon Akata serving out his 4-game ban for the illegal tackle on Jack Yendall on the opening day of the season. So it's Kelly and Woodward in Leicester's midfield today, up against Litchfield and Hutchinson for Saints. Oh, what a Finn Smith. Finn Smith. 32 Northampton points over the course of the opening 3 rounds, and a much needed first 3 here. It's taken them until the 37th minute.
And they haven't looked themselves, and of course a lot of that, if you're a Northampton Saints coach, you're in at half-time talking about how you can better improve what you're doing, but actually Leicester are making it very, very difficult for them. As James Craig said, it's very, very stop-start. There's not much flow to the game.
Stop-fart? I wish you would.
I was trying to send you a subliminal message. Could you please stop? It's uncomfortable, even in the open air.
How you come now?
Tony Munga. 3 minutes to half-time, and then Flats can go and get some fresh air.
Less Bovril, hopefully, at half-time.
Use it.
Snudded back by McParland.
It's a good kick, that.
It is, isn't it?
How you?
Simon Tosha. Van Portfleet, and then Woodward. He looks an old-style 12 Woodward, doesn't he? Broad shoulders. Still a young man, but he's got some power to it.
Yeah, it's a good strong line out and a good tackle from Finn Smith, actually.
There he is again. And then ball very nearly away to Hassel-Collins. It went backwards legally, so Northampton with some defensive sweeping to do. Yogan being wheelbarrowed backwards as he tried to put that ball on the floor.
But you look how hard Saints are having to work to get out. They're only 7 or 8 metres in their own line. What graft it is to just get away. And yes, McParland's kicking well, but he's being forced to kick well. It's such an effort getting out their own third.
Northampton, by the way, with another youngster, 22-year-old Jake Garside, their replacement scrum half. They've gone for a 6-2 split on the bench today, Saints, between forwards and backs. Mungo, he wasn't far away from burgling that again, but it is Leicester ball, and this is Cracknell. 40th minute. Leicester looking for a second try before half-time. And asking too much of Montosha.
Just eyes off it for a millisecond. Saints, you would imagine, will look to set this scrum as quickly as they can.
Just wondering whether this was a play that someone didn't hear the call on, because everybody's running in the right direction. Yeah, Pollard looks to the inside. I think he wants Watson to be just a little bit further in field, doesn't he?
Robbie Smith has come on because Curtis Langdon's missing. Of course, need a hooker with a scrum on the way, so Tom Litchfield is a sacrificial lamb.
Just think, you look at that play you just mentioned, Oz. You got Andre Pollard scooting around. That causes the defence to think he wants the option on the inside, but he also wants somebody on his left shoulder. And if you have a look, players step in, there is a hole there, but Chesham and Hayes aren't tight enough. There was a hole to be hit and there was no one in it.
Haaland and Saints and Finn Smith happy to head to the hutch. Just the 7 points down. First try coming up to just 150 seconds, scored by Freddie Stewart. Pollard's conversion, Pollard's later penalty. A couple of yellows for Tommy Raffel and Curtis Langdon. Finn Smith late on with his penalty. And as you can see, even though the whistle has gone, the fun and games continue as players walk to the shed at half-time, just to calm down a little. Half-time at Mattioli Woods, Welford Road. Leicester 10, Northampton 3. Well, he's played his full part in the first half. Julian Montosha, Finn Smith as well, with some lovely touches. It's been a story of the fastest of fast. Leicester starts. Freddie Stewart's try after 150 seconds. And then Northampton coming close on 2 occasions. First through Graham and then through Freeman. But their only points just before the end of the first period. Finn Smith's penalty. Northampton have made an early change. Trevor Davison is on for Elliot Miller-Mills at tight head prop. We'll get a word on that from David in a minute or two, but let's watch Hassel-Collins and Leicester trying to extricate themselves from their own 22.
But ropey enough kick that, wasn't it? Put themselves under a ton of pressure. Looks like they're going to rescue it, mind.
Use it!
I think they call it getting underneath it when it goes absolutely vertically.
Backwards off wide.
Ram
Tackle!
not getting there cleanly, so Leicester have it rolled back by Joseph Woodward. And then the error. So we'll have a scrum and we'll get to have a first look at Trevor Davison, part of Saints England contingent this week, and on very early on for Elliot Miller-Mills, whose first start this season, first game this season, lasted 40 minutes.
Yeah, big Trev's back. Big old unit on the tight. I tell you what, they need him.
There.
Bit of pressure. Well, lots of aggression from Leicester Tigers in that first half.
Okay, don't move now.
Didn't have it all their own way, but they really went for the Northampton Saints front row. Curtis Langdon still off as well, so Robbie Smith's in there at hooker. But Big Trev, theoretically, makes a hell of a difference. Elite level strength.
Another minute to go on the Curtis Langdon yellow.
Stay high.
Saints scrum. Oh, and Leicester had just walked them over the top of that.
Hey, theoretically, he might have added weight. Practically, not so much.
Balls come out tunnel first.
That's why I said theoretically, anything can happen.
Build, let's go again.
You don't want to celebrate too early. Ball came out luckily for Saints then, because Nicky Smith on the loose head for Leicester Tigers was on one.
Curtis Langdon serving his yellow card for the high tackle on Harry Wells.
Crouch! Bind!
Henry Pollock, the middle of the back row, ready to pounce, but again, the ball not...
Good this side. Good this side.
One of the really nice, so you can see Big Trev's ears gone there.
Weight. Okay,
That'll be
till the ball comes in, please.
That'll be one of those cuts that never heals. About 7 or 8 years after he's retired, that will stop catching and bleeding. Mine's just about stopped by now. But the best bit is that Nicky Smith will have a load of that as well in his face. He's got a nice beard, Nicky Smith, on the loose head. That'll all get clogged up.
Sure that Matt Ferguson has similar. Do you have white pillows at home? I mean, what's the bedding choice if you're a prop these days?
Absolutely key. Whatever your bedding is, you need dark pillows, certainly for the night of a match, day after a match. Otherwise, it's carnage in there.
High-end analysis on TNT Sports on a Saturday evening. And Northampton with McParland and Hutchinson. Just frustratingly, 1 or 2 passes that have not gone to hand so far, and yeah, that looked painful on Furbank.
Jacko?
Yes, mate.
Yeah, I think.
Checking the tackle, please. By Leicester 10.
Again, Andrew Jack Timo.
On Saints 15.
Well, Pollard comes in upright, and it's just, I think, a bit of a jack-in-the-box job, wasn't it? Just Furbank's head sort of rifled up towards him a bit. I see that and think we can all move on with our lives, don't you?
I think he'll end up with a yellow card for it, though. I agree with you, but... He's upright, isn't he?
So Jacko,
Well,
just
his knees are bent.
please.
But yes, he could be lower. Don't be too low, though. You get a yellow card for that.
We've had 2 yellows already for Tommy Raffel and Curtis Langdon.
Jacko, we got head contact.
Yep.
We got foul play. I'm not seeing this as a high degree of danger, so I think we can just stick with a penalty on there. Do you agree? Oh, you cut out.
I was thinking that we were not necessarily high danger, but it's pretty medium danger.
Okay, so not high degree of danger, so we're starting at a yellow card, but there's no mitigation, so it's just a yellow card.
Andrew Jack gently nudging Anthony Woodthorpe towards a yellow card, and the hand of apology from Andre Pollard.
Not high degree of danger, no mitigation.
It's just, he's got to be lower, and we're all advocates here. We're all advocates for bringing the tackle height down, and he's got to bend at the hips, not just at the knee, but it's that passive. I don't know. I guess it's letter of the law and all that, but that feels like the sort of yellow card that doesn't need to be awarded to me.
Could be a 5-minute yellow.
Just come on.
Yeah.
Gap, hold the gap.
Or just not a yellow.
Curtis Langdon back on, first job to find Kennedy, and then it's not found Ram. But again, just little loose threads from Saints going forwards. They still gratefully have possession. Chunyamunga goes in to make sure that there's some heavyweight protection for it. Talking of heavyweights, Mania Yogan. Hutchinson. James Ram. George Hendy, by the way, start to his season delayed by injury, but he was part of the warm-up crew before the match, so hopefully Hendy not far away from saying hello for the first time this campaign. Smith, he's given that away, and Cracknell was in the right place, returning as a starting 8 today after missing the win up at Kingston Park and drawing the penalty. Chesham, oh, the intensity. Woodward, that was nicely picked up by Hassel-Collins. It wasn't the pleasantest of passes. Liebenberg running into Munger's determined shoulders.
Still on edge.
Stewart, Hassel-Collins still playing the advantage, but for how much longer? Jack Van Portley, 2 Saints defenders to beat, comes back in field looking for mates and finds one in the presence of Woodward. Chesham, who started all this with a steamrollering run. Noise levels around this place rising. Liebenberg. Kelly. Running into a Northampton Forest. Van Portfleet popped up for Smith, Nicky Smith. Leicester 8-9 metres short of the target. Rafael. Ollie Chesham, who's been central to this latest Leicester thrust. Stewart trying to add a little bit of pace to it. Patient, accurate, Tiger stuff. Cracknell again. Rafael. Van Portfleet. Saints looking for the moment where they might be able to pounce on the ball. Chunyamunga maybe, but it goes the other way. Cracknell waits. Wells waits. It was Cracknell. He'd taken half a step forward before he got the ball. And then wide it goes, and it's been dropped by Kelly.
It's a great defensive set from Northampton, that, to hold the Tigers out, but it all started from that young man. Look at this out the back of the hands. Good change of direction. Stewart spots it, just flicks it out the back of his hand. And then Hassel-Collins does really well to go inside, outside, keep it alive. You think, OK, foot race. Furbank's got the angle on him, cuts back.
I think we were unlucky on the first one because the ball came out of the tunnel.
They're starting to play a bit of rugby, Leicester.
Tell you what, it was really good from Jack Van Portfleet, yes, but the recognition from Freddie Stewart. I think, make no mistake, of course he wants to win this game for his team, but this is personal. George Furbank's just been subbed off. By the way, if it's an HIA, he's running up the stairs. He's just come off the field beneath us. Freddie Stewart at the moment, dead keen to get involved. Having a really, really good game. Not perfect, but a really, really good game. We saw him knock a ball on in the first minute of this second half in that 13 channel. Just didn't quite go to hand, but it was a brilliant line he picked up pace in the outside channel. He wants to be part of it, trucking ball up, doing the lot at the moment.
Ollie Slightholme has come off the bench for George Furbank. We assume that's a temporary change. We're getting confirmation of that. But there is Slightholme on the wing. It is an HIA. Clear and present danger, drawn off the bench. A couple of tries against Harlequins last weekend.
Stand up. Get your heads in the right spaces, give him somewhere to go. Get in the mix, let's go. Let's go, boys.
You've just got on that far side, you've just got... I think the complaint is from the referee and from Leicester Tigers that Manny Egan on the loose head is just trying to block Joe Hayes' head from going where he wants it to, just in between prop and hooker. Just getting a bit of head on head, just giving him something else to think about, bit of niggle. It's good stuff.
Saint scrum in a dusty, shadowy old corner, and they're having to work very hard to bring it away. But how well did Henry Pollock do? Oh, that might have been lost forwards. It's Tommy Rafael who led the appeal and then led the celebration.
You can see what he's trying to do, McParland. He wants to go back to the left, and naturally everyone folds around the corner and you think he's going to pass it open, but actually he wants to go back towards the traffic where the Leicester Tigers forwards, the front five, haven't yet got back on side and can't touch him. This was really well done by Pollock. Good acceleration. And he wants to run around all those Leicester Tigers forwards who can't touch him from 2 defender out.
Okay.
Knocks it on his mate's leg.
Here's the mark. Your ball, you set first, please. They set off you. You go first. Thank you. You go first.
And now it's a Leicester attacking scrum. What do you do with this, Flats?
Well, the last one, if it had gone any further, I think would have been a Northampton penalty because Leicester were running around the side a bit. I mean, Leicester will either try and punish them and go for them, or they really want a little left hand up. So they want this side of the scrum just to move forward. So you look at that Saints back row, you look at Angus Scott-Young on the open side just by the referee there. They just want to move him away from where the breakdown's going to be by just nudging the left-hand side up if they can. Just means Tommy Raffel gets a head start to the breakdown.
How do Saints defend against that? The pressure's going to be coming through Trevor Davison. What do they do?
Stop the scrum first, because you've got the advantage in the back line with no Pollard. So a man down, and on this side as well, it's much harder because you've got the 9 pushing out, so everybody's got an extra defensive back in front of them. So Leicester theoretically are going to go for the penalty in my book, or you'll see someone break off the base down the short side and they'll try and just barrage their way. There you go. Now they'll kick to the corner and try and drive them over, or they'll take the 3.
The offence there is Leicester pile in with a decent, strong engagement. And if you're a Northampton Saints fan, you're saying they shoved early, but actually it looks more like Saints have folded under the engagement there, been a bit passive.
And without Andre Pollard, it was Joseph Woodward, who also doubles as a fly half when he's not in midfield, who kicks the ball to touch. And Hanro Liebenberg, part of this line-out effort. I think we know what's coming here. Montosha to the front and Chesham, and now comes the drive, and now the North East Midlands roars. Northampton digging in. Montosha feeling for softer shoulders. The ball comes out to Woodward. Stewart barking them on. Raffel. Wells waits. Was then part of the clear-out crew. Liebenberg lays it back. Cracknell next to Hayes. So Saints concede the penalty. They've done really well at defending this area so far in the game. What of this latest threat? Watson. He's got 3, now 4 Saints defenders ushering him towards the touchline. But Leicester penalty.
I think you go tap and go again. It worked for you in the first half.
He's not the captain.
I guess it's just stretching yourself out to a 10-point lead, isn't it? Is the conservative choice. They're not doing it. Scrum time. This is the difference someone like Montosha makes. You see everyone else in that front 5, that front 8, their performance just steps up a notch. Because yes, he's an outstanding player technically, and he's big and strong and abrasive and all that stuff. But so much of what he does isn't about athleticism. He's got that. It's about mindset. This is overtly confrontational. Overtly confrontational. They're saying, we're going to take you on somewhere you can't avoid us.
And you get the sense at the moment that Julian Montosha is doing this with just one eye, because he ain't got a great deal of vision in that left one.
He's got an excuse if any more line-outs go awry, isn't he?
Down they go again. On goes the shove. Leicester with another penalty. Problems mounting for Northampton. Van Portfleet, Stewart looking for a second. Leicester looking for a second. Liebenberg held up just short. Another penalty on the way. And the try scored. And it's Cracknell. The blood and the thunder of Leicester at close range.
Brute force wins the day. That was an old school Leicester Tigers try. Having a penalty 5 metres out and choosing the scrum reminds me of playing up here myself. Absolute confrontation. They got their drills just right. It was a hit and go, almost like the old days in the scrum, and from that moment Northampton are on the back foot. And Freddie Stewart, yes, he's a fullback. He's also, as we said in the first half, 6'5" and 17, 18 stone. So why not use him on the hoof? Why not use him to smash a hole into some defenders? Lots of momentum he carries into contact. Northampton just can't recover. Great work in the tight. Ollie Cracknell, the Leicester pack, but Freddie Stewart having a very good game.
Andre Pollard back with us, and if to underline the point, he adds the extras, and it's Leicester 17-3. Junior Springbok of the Year, Corne Beats, arrives for Leicester next month, but he's got a job on his hands to take that shirt off Cracknell. He's played so well at the start of this season, and Charlie Clare with the thumbs up on for Julian Montoya. Tom West on as well for Northampton, replacing Manny again. And well, Julian says, what's South American for I can't see anything?
I think he said, cut me, Mickey.
Appears to have a slice of liver over his right eye. I tell you what, Charlie Clare's had a really good start to the season until Montoya got back. I think you take a player like Montoya off, you do lose something. Almost any team in the world would lose something taking him off. But Charlie Clare's been fantastic his first few rounds.
Yes. They start, you go to the left of it.
Tom Pearson as well. Looks like he has come on for Angus Scott Young in the back row. So Saints' back row now is Tom Pearson, Josh Kemeny and Henry Pollock packing down at number 8. Pollock on early on for
just watching
St Graham and his dislocated knee. Sorry, Oscar.
Slytone trying to make eye contact at the base. He's itching, his feet are going. If I'm JVP, he's the only guy I'm looking at to tackle. He gets across him.
Beyond Slytone to Hutchinson, and Smith and Ram very nearly got out of the tackle, but Watson hung on determinedly. Oh, and Leicester win it, but win it illegally.
Well, they were on him so quick, you just thought, was there a release then between tackled player hitting the deck and having a poach? And I think if there are two players having a go at him, Anthony Watson was one of them. I think Anthony Watson was deemed not to have shown a clear release first.
Line.
Effectively dropping to the ground with him.
On the line.
That was tight though. If he'd shown daylight, they still would have nicked it, I think, because there was an isolated ball carrier there.
And now it's time for Northampton. They've not had too many of these opportunities recently. That close to the Leicester try line. Robbie Smith and the big blokes will gather round.
Early on the front Leicester.
Taken in by Kemeny.
It's the same ball broken away.
Leicester defending desperately. Pollock almost breaking away and scoring. Here's Pearson. Davison waits, takes a step backwards, but we'll come back for the penalty because Leicester were too eager defending the line out.
You can choose the line out if you want. Okay. Line out chosen. Use the line early on the front lifter.
And because it was a penalty at the line out, Finn Smith doesn't need to bother kicking the ball out into touch.
Just if you're going to stay down, and try and blitz the attacking team on the floor, the legend rolls on. You've got to get your timing right. They didn't. Dan Cole doesn't make many mistakes in areas like this.
This is not Dan Cole's first East Midlands rodeo.
What is it? How many has he played?
38. Anyway, straight into the saddle. Northampton.
Ball's at the front. It's a tackle, let it go! Ball's available, no hands,
once more with Tom Pearson.
No.
Set to pick up, or maybe let it roll through to Parlin. No, it is Pearson who doesn't hold on to it long. And Davison invited to give it a go. And then again, the search for the line, and Saints muscle.
He scored that.
This time, on the line, surely.
He scored that, Nick. That is great power.
Relax, boys. Relax. As I come round, I haven't got a grounding. Have you got a grounding?
No, I've got it clearly down. I've got two arms underneath it.
I've got it down. I'm 70 metres away.
Time to check it, so we'll just check. Just check for a grounding, please.
Jack Makepeace, the assistant referee.
Okay,
the
so
end.
on-field decision, no try.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, thanks.
More work for Andrew Jack. So on-field decision, no try. We've got to see this on the floor.
Wells tries to just roll him, get his body underneath, but he's got so much strength. I think he spins out, gets to the ground. Well, that's a try, isn't it?
I don't know. Does Wells then get his hands underneath?
Yeah, I think it is incredible power, that. But from that first angle,
That's
I
a
think
try.
he grounds it before the line. I don't know if he grounds it afterwards.
Now it's up, but I think between there...
I think there's skin and bone underneath that, Oz.
Oh, how much closer are Northampton going to have to get before they get a
It's
try?
either
This
a goal
time
line
it's
dropout
Tom
or a try.
Pearson.
That's the two outcomes.
This angle is
We can't
held
tell
up,
from here.
but the one
There's a man up
before,
in the truck for that.
I'm not so sure. That's not on the ground there, is it?
Is it clear and obvious? And that's what it needs to be, because Anthony Woodthorpe isn't seeing a grounding. At the moment, it's no try unless we have definitive evidence otherwise.
Can't see him giving that. That is tight.
If I'm a Saints fan, I want to see the other angle. This one. Does he make the line now?
I think you'd
On
count
the
that.
first reach. Not now. But does he make it now? And he pushes down.
Well, you're guessing, though, aren't you? Because you can't see the ball, and
Yeah.
that's the problem. He almost certainly does, but unless we
and if
see
the
it...
officials, different question, different outcome. It's going to be no try, isn't it?
No try.
Would he stay with your on-field decision?
Well, there'll be Saints fans right now south of the border, south of Market Harborough, slapping the cushions in frustration. Northampton might have had 3 tries by now. They've still got none.
So tight. Super, super tight.
Up now.
I don't know if a different question from the referee, Oz, gives a different result then. They didn't see it grounding because I think there probably wasn't one, but it's so tight. Great power from Pollock.
Great work from Wells.
Great work from Wells, yeah.
Davison eager for work. Smith holds it up. Draws in Freeman.
It's just a bit speculative, isn't it? They're not quite steaming onto it. Leicester are getting off the line on the outside, shutting it down with relative ease at the moment.
McParland to West. Former Leicester man. A season here.
Tackle! Let it go! Tackle!
Driving of Pollock. Smith into Chesham, who rolls over the top. McParland, Munga.
No, no! He's
Leicester
hooking
told
the
to
ball, no more.
give it up. Wells warned. Oh, and it's intercepted, and away they go, and away goes Woodward. Who'll chase him? Who'll catch him? Got some work to do. Oh, Hassel Collins was clear on his own on the left-hand side. Oh, that might be a yellow.
Yeah.
Here it comes, and how quickly things change from one end to the other. And Tom Pearson, millimetres away from scoring a second or so ago, now yellow carded.
How good is the read from Woodward?
So good.
Absolutely brilliant this is. Because look, it just keeps running, just keeps going. That is a really good read of the pass. I thought he was going to get there himself if he hadn't swayed wrong, gets across.
Line.
There was a pass on to his left, but it's too much to expect, really.
It's difficult.
James Rand does brilliantly there. He steams back at 100%.
Pearson's thinking he's getting away with that because he's hidden his right arm underneath. Hard to see.
Third yellow card, second for Saints. They're without Pearson, one of their big enforcers at times like this. They've got to try and out-muscle Leicester here, keep them out. A man down and a big man down. Dan Cole, sensing glory. He's got it now. He's got a lot of work to do on his own. He's up to the line, just short. He's being turtled by Northampton's defence. Cracknell waits. Doesn't get that far. Harry Wells Mills. Not quite. Now Leicester are. It's Chesham. And increasingly you are thinking on this East Midlands evening that it is Leicester.
And just as Northampton lose a fresh leg top player, Tom Pearson, to the sin bin, one of Leicester's big guns steps up. There have been a couple of instances in this game where Ollie Chesham, the big second row try scorer here, just looks a level above most other players on the field in terms of directness and power. Just a simplicity to what he does. Very, very hard to stop. Great engine, lovely body shapes for a man that big. In the end, there's nothing they're doing about that. They run out of numbers.
They've written volumes on Leicester sides of old, scoring tries from 5 metres out, and Ollie Cracknell and Ollie Chesham, and to a degree Freddie Stewart right at the start of the match have scored tries just from that range in this contest so far. Into the final quarter, Leicester 24, Northampton 3.
He does 2 jobs as well, Chesham, in this one, doesn't he? He actually clears the ruck out himself. Clears the ruck out, little clear out there, bounces back out. Over he goes.
Well, he's back amongst the rank and file tonight. Julian Montoya initially resuming the captaincy, but no let up in the work that Chesham offers. Or Cracknell.
Use it!
The physicality, Nick, from this Tigers pack has been exceptional today, hasn't it? It's what stood the two sides apart, really.
Just a change, by the way. James Cronin on at loose head for Nicky Smith.
Been really impressed by Nicky Smith. Thought he was really good today. I think he's been a really clever bit of recruitment for Leicester Tigers, getting him out of Wales.
Still a long time to go. Still 6 minutes to go on Tom Pearson's yellow.
Saints will want to open this game up, and if they can score lots and lots of points. Tigers need to keep it tight if they want to go on to win.
No, 7!
Hutchinson. Ooh, that's an interesting kick. Maybe a little bit too close to Stewart. There was still lots of work for the fullback to do. And then look at Woodward coming in to provide some momentum as well to make sure Leicester are on the front foot.
Well, it ends up being the wrong kick, doesn't it, because of who you're kicking it to. Because Freddie Stewart there, if you kick that to him 100 times, he takes 105 of them. So it's verging on a guaranteed turnover, that.
Use it!
Munga wasn't far away. Rather forced Jack Van Portfleet to hit that higher than it travelled along the ground. Robbie Smith, Scotland international for the first time this season. Debut on the summer tour to North America. Smith to Munga. Smith, we gave that a wallop, and on the bounce it's caught by Stewart.
Retreat! Retreat! Retreat!
Stewart does likewise. Just the way that Finn Smith is playing again tonight, Oz, just that business of never being rushed. It's not been Saints' game so far, but whenever Smith's on the ball, he's drawing those defenders in, and it seems like he has all the time in the world.
Yeah, it's really evident that he's learnt a lot off George Ford, and to just tread water when there's a lot of traffic around. You don't take the ball to the line. For me, though, currently on form, I think Marcus Smith starts if George Ford isn't fit. So he was playing really for a spot on the bench in my money currently.
Don't go on the ball.
Is that just overall threat of Marcus Smith?
I just think the way that he just brings a back line to life, and he is such a threat. But if Fairbank's injured, if Stewart's not playing, then he could play Smith at fullback. He was so good the other night.
Do you know what, Nick? It's these little bits. And I remember when Steve Borthwick took over here at Leicester Tigers and talked about re-establishing the Leicester Tigers DNA. It sounds like sort of management speak until you really get into it and you see it in evidence. I think it's really coming through again in another phase here for Leicester Tigers. It's choosing the scrum penalty from 5 metres. It's counter-rucking all the time. It's gritty. It's making a fight of all the breakdowns, turning over mauls. Just makes them horrible to play against. And that, for me, is the point of playing away at Leicester. It's meant to be unpleasant, and today it's looked unpleasant.
Really interesting chatting with Michael Checker over the last few weeks about how he's eased his way into this job. One of the things he did was talk to the players pre-season and say, how do you want to play? What do you think your strengths are? What did you not do as well as you might have done last season? And none of this is happening by chance.
Yeah, all the best coaches do that. They empower the players. And if they come up with the wrong answer, the players, then they ask them again until they get the right answer.
Well, then if it goes wrong, you blame the players. It was their idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's felt like we could have been watching a game from the 1970s, from the 1980s here today.
I mean, that's 30 East Midlands derbies for Ben Youngs. It's incredible, that, isn't it?
Relax, careful, lads, be careful.
Yeah, nobody's played in more of them now. He's overtaken Alex Waller. Dan Cole not far behind, but yeah, it is 30 now for him.
Be interested to know, Nick, who's played in the most derbies?
Movement, ball can't come in to this settle.
The most East Midlands derbies?
No, the most derbies. It's derby weekend. This isn't the only derby, although practically is. But who's played in the most? Anyone you can think of that comes to mind that might have played in more?
I bet it'll be like
Danny Kerr, maybe?
Or like Rob Fidler or someone played in 812 of them, or something. Someone like, weren't there? Andy Deacon.
Wigglesworth must be up there. Anyone who played into their late 30s, basically.
We should find out.
Well, Simon Shaw played till he was, what, 38, played for a London club, so all the London games technically count as derbies. He could be at 100.
That's cheating.
All right.
Anyway, taken up by Pollock.
He hasn't taken a backward step all night, has he?
No, he's got a lot of power in the contact, hasn't he? He's different. He's not a huge guy, but he's very, very powerful, great balance.
I understand why the coaches are so excited about young Henry Pollock. Saints operating without another bright star. Pearson at the moment. Ram looking for space. Slight home offered himself. There's the work of Leicester over the ball. That's what we're talking about. But Saints this time repel. Proper contest for possession.
They repel and they manage to rescue it, but Leicester have that extra time to set up, so they deal with things that bit more easily in defence.
Smith again, the little hold up for Robbie Smith. Mayana Vanua. Hutchinson.
Barney's offside.
The Saints might be tempted to drill this as close to the corner as they can get it.
Yeah, Cronin there. He saw an opportunity, but you just got to, if you're going to dive in that quick, got to get those knees bent. Don't tip too far forward, keep your balance. He nosedived in there a bit.
It's the end of Tommy Raffel's evening. Amika Ilioni comes on. Will Wand on for Dan Kelly as well in the midfield. The ball's gone loose, and Cronin this time was first on it, but there was just a little knock forward, so Saints will have the scrum.
Just didn't quite look right, that drill, did it?
Saints scrum.
Just wonder if somebody missed the lift. Well, actually, it's almost like you got the front lifter almost came too far forwards. And Timo Mayana Vanua actually almost got body checked by his own lifter. He wants to run in and jump. His lifters don't touch him until he leaves the floor. He actually ends up chest to chest with the guy who's meant to be lifting him.
Here's James Craig, the line-out coach. No Alex Coles today. Took a bang to the ribs against Harlequins. Hasn't recovered. New signing Callum Hunter-Hill resting a sore back. So Saints great want to have Timo Mayana Vanua back in the middle of all this. Into the final minute of Pearson's yellow, but they're still a big man down. However, this close to the line, this close to their first try in the 70th minute of the East Midlands derby. Maybe now, Pollock driving for the line. If anyone deserves one, he does.
Yeah, he lost it. Oh, it's a brilliant tackle. Oh.
I I tell you what, again, I repeat myself, he's not a giant guy, but you really got to hit this kid. And he drops the ball on in contact then, knocks the ball on, but you've really got to stick on him, hit him hard. There's an awful lot of momentum he carries in.
Yeah, so you go first.
It's Joseph Woodward who made the tackle.
Yeah, got himself in a decent position, got rocked in the tackle, but yeah, it's a clear knock-on.
He got bumped, didn't he? But he did enough to displace the ball, which is all that counts.
Okay, here's your mark, Charlie.
Northampton are giving a debut to Gavin Thornbury. He's just taken the place of Miana Vanua in the second row. Thornbury, former Connacht man, brought in on a short-term contract at the same time as Will Spencer to beef up the squad. We'll see Spencer as the season wears on, and it started to rain. And the Tigers folks have their phone torches on.
No hurt. No hurt.
Free kick. It's going to have to be a tap and go, and Pollock will happily do that to try to right the wrongs. He's taken them to within touching distance of the try line. Off goes Saints, this time well over the line. Oh, and again held up. You're getting the impression that we could play until next Thursday and Northampton wouldn't score.
Dan Cole does really well here. He concedes the tackle straight away from the side. He doesn't try and hit it. Just watch what he does with his right hand.
I think it was Tom West who took it in, Oz, as we have a look at this.
Yeah, Cole actually could try and hit him. He could try and win the tackle, but he doesn't.
He's good at that, Coley. He's good at that. He does that a lot. It's actually about a big, massively strong man actually being passive for a second for the greater gain.
There you go. You can't quite see from that angle, but he just gets his right arm underneath the ball and spins, concedes a couple of metres. Oh, it is tipping it down now.
It is. I'm looking forward to the walk to the railway station.
I'll give you a lift.
I'll walk.
Get wet then.
I don't think your helicopter's going to be allowed to fly in this rain, is it?
Heated massage seats, you don't want them, don't have them.
As Trevor Davison takes it up. Leicester brought on Com Joussin as well, by the way. You can see him running around. There he is there making the tackle. Joussin on for, I think it's Tommy Raffel that he's come on for. But, Joussin is quite a size Frenchman from Stade Francais, came up through their academy, and he's here by way of Nottingham, which was where he first attracted Dan McKellar's eye last season, and now a Tiger.
Yeah, Shilcock on for Watson as well. That's a delight, isn't it? There's 8 minutes to go. Coaches tell you going on into the absolute monsoon rain.
And Jake Garside, 22-year-old scrum half, there he is on for Tom Litchfield. Garside's gone on to the wing, and Tommy Freeman has moved into midfield alongside Hutchinson. Freeman playing a little bit more in midfield last season. Pollard.
Both down and across together.
James Ram at fullback. Clipped over the top, and Hutchinson, and here is the new man Garside. Oh, he's got some pace. Fresh legs, fresh lungs, and up to within 4 metres of the try line. Oh, and then the ball was knocked on.
It's not your day, lads. It's not your day. Hutchinson does so nicely down the left. He's just a beautiful rugby player to watch, isn't he? Puts Garside away.
Lost forward by 12, to go to pick it up.
There's so much space out there to the left. You just still got to do something with it. Hutchinson just glides.
This the 10th time that Northampton have been in Leicester's 22 without scoring a try. Before this game, only Newcastle had made fewer attacking excursions into the red zone, as we call it. Saints up to that point, Flats, have been the poorest at turning them into points, and they've only added to that today.
They've only added to it. The cutting edge isn't quite there, exactly what we're used to seeing. But Freddie Stewart actually had a key intervention. The tackle was made, but he piled in and made an absolute mess of it. Lovely first touch for him.
There's Garside, 22, up through the academy. This is just his 5th game in the Premiership. What Saints have done well today, under a lot of pressure, is change the geography of the match. They have been getting more into the 22, getting closer to the try line. What they've not added to is the efficiency once they've got there.
I think also, it's not a comment on anyone else who's playing, but you remove Alex Mitchell, who's your incumbent England scrum half, who's an absolute menace and a brilliant attacking player. You remove Fraser Dingwall, who is, people call him the glue of the Northampton Saints side. He might be the most important player in the side. If he's not, he's up in the top couple. It does have an effect, does have an impact on your attack. Of course it does.
I think the biggest issue they've had this year is the amount of weight and size that they've lost out of the pack. You know, Cole's injured for today, Moon's gone. Obviously Courtney, so it's just it's a very hard 3 to replace.
Lewis Ludlam as well, obviously.
Yeah.
6 minutes to go. Leicester will still hold ambitions of a bonus point win. They need one more try. At the wrong end of the pitch at the moment.
Use it!
Walloped away by Ben Youngs. Ram. Tackle missed by Clare. Ram extra couple of metres. Pollock. Pollock's played much of this game because of the early injury to Sam Graham. Leicester conceding another penalty. Hutchinson. Castled in midfield.
Still under advantage.
Smith. Munger. Wind's getting up as well. You might be able to hear it on our effects microphones.
Still playing advantage Saints.
There's Tommy Freeman going. Once more. Pearson back with us.
17. 17.
James Cronin.
Both hands off the ball, please. Line.
Josh Kemeny has been a popular target at the line out so far. What's on Robbie Smith's mind? Where's this one going? Once again, it is Kemeny. Once again, Saints pressing, and Smith, and away to slight home. McParland, here they go with Pearson again. Still just short, but surely now McParland. Still not yet. Jake Garside on this far right-hand side. Northampton keeping it tight. Smith calling for it, looking for Garside too much. Oh, it has been one of those East Midlands derbies for Northampton.
Horrible day for Saints, it has to be said. If that's Tommy Freeman out there, they score because he's 6'4".
3 man.
Leicester. Oh, it's an interesting line out, and it created some problems, and it's picked up by Pollock, and Saints might be given the try. Munger drives in, surely has to score.
Held up again.
Woody, Leicester offside if that's held up.
Yeah, okay. Held up, going for an offside penalty.
Number 8.
The 78th minute, and Saints calling for Cambridge. Whatever that is, we're about to find out.
Good night out.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, only an hour from here.
A special move on the cards. Let's see. Tom West, hands on his knees, but it's left for Pollock, and it is West who drives it on. McParland, 78th minute. Northampton still hunting the first try. Consolation territory, that's been lost. This time by Freeman, and Leicester will have the scrum at the very least.
Still backwards by Tigers.
Stewart with the tackle again, wasn't it?
Steaming off the line, game's won, 21 points up with a couple of minutes to go. Leicester Tigers and Freddie Stewart steaming off the line, colliding hard.
Oh, that might be a penalty. Trevor Davison warming himself up.
I think he thought the ball was out. It wasn't.
Just wants to be friends.
And offside.
It's actually better at full speed, that.
He's picking the Gallagher player of the match.
I am. It's him.
Thank you. I like it.
There you go.
We're not messing around.
I like it because it hasn't been what you would. It's not what you'd necessarily think of as a full-back's dream day. But actually, I've loved what Freddie Stewart's done today. We know about the high ball, we know about the defensive strength and all that kind of stuff. But he's just been mad for it. He's been up for it. He's been seeing options, putting Hassel Collins away down the left, hitting the outside channel even when it hasn't quite worked, making big tackles, getting in tight and carrying, clearing out rucks. I think he's been a fantastic asset to Leicester Tigers today. And Freddie Stewart is our Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
Just a penalty advantage, high tackle.
It's a chaotic end to the game as we enter the 80th minute. High tackle penalty, a botched line out, and still it's Northampton and Garside again, living in hope that they might take a 5-pointer back down the M1 just to keep them warm.
Yeah, new advantage, not rolling. You fall on the wrong side.
It's been 13 years since Leicester kept Northampton tryless. The semi-final in 2011. It's been that long. That's not a record that these Saints players will want to break this evening. They've got one more opportunity to do something that they have been threatening for most of the match without actually being able to complete the deal.
Looks nice, all those lights, doesn't it? Like an Adele concert, but a bit grittier, like.
Wow, the noise and the lights of Welford Road as Saints go a-searching once more. Is this the moment? Maybe! Freeman up to the line. Finally, in the 81st minute, Saints score the try. And that'll hurt Leicester. They'll have been looking to keep them out, but eventually the score that Saints have been threatening for so long.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of the icing off, won't it? But lovely play. Wrap around, great angle, takes the ball from behind him, and he's got so much power, Freeman. A wonderful angle. Does he get there? Oh, he's lost it. It's been punched out. Does he get it back?
No.
Oh.
That has to be a try.
Yeah.
Does he keep hold of the ball, though? Does he ever lose contact with his left arm?
Well, there's separation, isn't there?
Oh, well, if this one is ruled out, there'll be thousands and thousands of Saints fans switching across the homes under the hammer and wishing that they'd never wasted 2 hours watching this.
No clear separation.
Ah, the try scored.
Of course it was.
You can stick with us, folks.
Of course it was. Separation, come on, Wes.
I'm just trying to add to the several hours of abuse I get on social media after every East Midlands derby from Neanderthals who've had a few shandies on their couches.
I've got a few fake accounts I'll pepper you with on the journey home.
Look forward to it.
Well done, Saints. Nicely executed that. Tommy Freeman, tons of power, nearly didn't work. Pass wasn't perfect. In the end, a great play.
Finn Smith's conversion goes wide, and a look on his face that will sum up the faces of most Northampton folk in these parts. But Leicester very impressive. Sleeves rolled up, showing their muscles. It felt like Leicester of old. It's good to be back, isn't it? What is it, 50-odd days since we last enjoyed all of this together, re-immersing ourselves in the Gallagher Premiership with a couple of clubs who provided 8 of the England team in Cardiff last weekend. Both are actually missing a few of their Six Nations stars for various reasons here. Phil Dowson's 23 doesn't include Alex Mitchell or Tommy Freeman, who have taken this week as their mandatory weekend off. Ollie Slightholme's missing as well with the ankle injury that threatens to keep him out for the rest of the season. But we do have Finn Smith, after shining in white over the last couple of months. We have Fraser Dingwall, fresh from anchoring England's midfield against Italy and Wales. And we have Henry Pollock, ready to be sprung from the bench, just like he was last weekend. Well, here's Michael Checker's first Premiership selection since telling us he wouldn't be doing the job for much longer, leaving at the end of the season. 5 of this starting 15 have been on Six Nations duty. Jack Van Poortvliet, one of them. Here he is about to play a big club game for the first time since he hurt himself in January in Europe. He's alongside Andre Pollard, who, like Checker, has told us he's off in June. Freddie Stewart, England's fullback in Dublin. Leicester's fullback once more. Nicky Smith and Joe Hayes were on opposite sides of the scrum in Cardiff 6 days ago. Tommy Raffel was part of the mix at the Principality Stadium as well. Ben, what do you have?
Well, in the forwards, there's a massive battle in the back row. 2 very evenly matched units there, but for me, the standout is the 2 number 8s. Both sides play much better when those 2 sledgehammers are getting them on the front foot, knocking those defensive lines backwards, and then hopefully we'll see some good attacking rugby off what the chaos that they create.
And chaos is probably the right word when you think about it for an East Midlands derby. I'm really looking forward to seeing Hendy and Stewart go head-to-head. Hendy in particular, I think he's electric, but it's going to be about control. The forward packs are always crazy in these games, and they need field position. So for me, Smith versus Pollard, kicking points, building scores, and keeping momentum are going to be key factors for both sides.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Leicester back in at the deep end, returning to Premiership business against the team they enjoy beating more than any other at the away ground that gets tiger blood pumping like no other. How much Northampton have enjoyed being able to call themselves Premiership champions these past 9 or 10 months. But they're third bottom right now, 9 points behind Leicester, who are in 4th. Saints' defence hanging by a thread as Julian Montoya. 70th game for the club, not many left. He's expected to be in the top 14 with Poe next season. And Leicester starting their drive for the playoffs over what's left of this season under garden lights and with plenty of support. Short trip down the M1. Team in 4th, a point behind Gloucester in 3rd at the moment, a point ahead of Saracens in 5th, and a big win tonight will take them level with Bristol in 2nd. Northampton, as they have so many times this season, are putting on a pre-match light show. Everybody downloading the app on their mobile phone. I don't know whether Austin's downloading the app or ordering a pizza. He's on his phone anyway.
No, something different.
I'm just using the light, Nick. I want to be part of the light show. If you had a phone that was actually a smartphone, you'd join in too.
Well, history and mathematics suggest Saints might need to pick up as many as 30 of the 35 points left to be played to squeeze into the playoffs, and that quest starts here. Their first home game in the Premiership since the start of the year, since they beat Bath by a point here in a thriller. First weekend in January. Last game here at the start of this month, a rather unexpected Premiership Cup quarter-final defeat to Ealing, but that was a night when Finn Smith wasn't part of the occasion, when Fraser Dingwall wasn't part of the equation. We wouldn't have the likes of Henry Pollock on the bench. Anthony Woodthorpe, took charge of October's game at Welford Road, a game that Leicester won, so they're on course for a rare league double of late. And while we've all been off flirting with the Six Nations, it is high time we cuddled up again with an old flame. And what a way to do it, with the smoke hanging over the gardens, the start of Derby weekend in the Gallagher Premiership, and perhaps the biggest of the lot at the moment. Northampton and Leicester. Leicester in white, and the earliest of Northampton penalties for a bit of shielding in midfield.
Well, it's Kata who gets done, but the only mistake he makes is he just changes his eye line so he can see them coming. If you just watch him there, look, he just looks the wrong way and then doesn't move. He's got to get out of the way. He knows exactly what he's doing. Michael Chaka's got a few weeks left. Maybe he'll be throwing things at him in the changing room for that one.
I also think that could well become a tactic for teams, because if you're underneath that ball, you're not 100% sure who's coming. So you have to stand there until the last minute. And then, as I've said, he needs to get out of the way to prevent blocking. But it will cause teams a lot of problems and gives Northampton the perfect start.
And the perfect platform to launch early. They take it quickly. Augustus involving Ram straight away, and Ram running into the traffic, and Saints threatening within the opening 60 seconds. Oh, and that was ricocheted forwards. It would have been a try after exactly a minute for Josh Kemeny. However, Leicester are offside, and Saints will go again with Curtis Langdon. This is Augustus. James. Dingwall lays it back. This is Langdon once more.
Ball's available. No, 7 no. Well done.
Pearson looks interested. Instead, it's James to Miana Vanua. Mania Yogan with his hands in the air. Here he is, clocking on. Dingwall, a couple of steps backwards.
Ball out a long time.
It is Dingwall. Oh, it's intercepted. Hanro Liebenberg, and then the chase now for Jack Van Poortvliet. The ball holds up nicely for him. He didn't get the connection with the ball that he would have wanted. Otherwise, Ollie Hassel-Collins may well have been in.
Use it.
Oh, it's been a ferocious start to this East Midlands derby, and all of a sudden, Saints are defending in their own garden.
Yeah, he's moved. The ball's there. The ball's this side. 4 is slowing it down. Not yet.
Incredible end-to-end stuff. Players taking a well-earned break. You can hear the referee breathing heavily over his ref mic.
And to get their breath back, James finds touch.
Just in all that attack, some unseen work that probably prevented Northampton scoring. Watch Nicky Smith here slow Northampton down. You can see the Leicester backs all frantic to get more support round the corner. If that comes quickly, they're in real trouble. And as it was a bit stagnated, just a hesitation on the pass, and Liebenberg reads it. Unfortunately, just stumbles after his kick. Van Poortvliet can't quite get the bounce of the ball to allow him to fly hack on.
And here is Van Poortvliet, wearing Trevor Davison like a large winter coat. Here's Nicky Smith. Harry Wells goes over the ball. Joe Hayes stretching his chunky little legs as far back as they'll go to give Van Poortvliet the room he needs to clear. And oh, it was Hassel-Collins who was up comfortably, down uncomfortably, but Leicester ball, Pollard ball, Stewart now for Leicester. Another falls into the tackle. This is Joseph Woodward wearing 12 tonight. Wonderful feet from him. Pollard, Radwan, and the first roars he hears playing in an East Midlands derby, a roars to celebrate his try.
And it's a brilliant bit of play from Woodward. Hassel-Collins takes the ball on the second grab. Really good awareness as he lands to keep the ball in mind, but the initial carry from Stewart. But watch Woodward here. Drifts, takes one out, takes 2 out. And that creates the overlap on the outside that Radwan finishes. Really good from Leicester's young centre.
He just stood there.
No issues.
Well, a Falcon turned Tiger mid-season. His 3rd game, you might remember that in the first of these, he scored a try on his debut at Kingsholm against Gloucester, and it was his first touch of the match.
20 seconds.
And he's had a similar impact here at the Gardens. 4 minutes gone. And already Andre Pollard prowling over a conversion. He's been kicking really well so far this season, but that was a tough angle. Leicester will satisfy themselves, however, with an early 5-point lead.
Lovely offload out the back door as well. And Radwan's always going to have that pace as soon as the ball's safely in his hands.
Leicester losing the services of Anthony Watson mid-season, who sadly had to retire because of injury, but they've got Radwan back, and that's a brilliant get back from Ram and a Yogan for Northampton, who can do exactly what they'd have wanted to do, which is try to remount the bike straight away. Augustus clattered in midfield by Montosha and his mates. Smith,
Another
hold up of the
Lieberberg.
ball, and it's Lieberberg once more. King of the intercepts, too.
Pulls out.
And Portfleet using his strength and then up to halfway. However, so Pollard on the floor, who felt that he had to hold on longer than he ought to have done.
It's better from Van Portfleet, though, isn't it? We've not seen much of that in his game since he came back from the broken leg, but slowly the confidence coming back, and that's his super strength, really, taking on the fringes like that, bouncing out of tackles and keeping the ball alive. You want to develop that side more and more in his game, back into his game now.
Curtis Langman's up for it, isn't he? Brilliant turnover there from the hooker. Got to try and calm those emotions now, get his dart right to back it up, having won his team the penalty. Didn't look like they were pushing that as far as they could to the kick. They probably fancied this attacking line out on the 22.
On your third man, on the full one. Saves come to the line.
You always get to the 22 and you think you're going to see some kind of vesty move, don't you? Back into the pocket, the back of the line out. Rahm's in motion in the backfield now. You see a winger that keen, he's normally going to be involved.
It's a full Saints line out. It was messy at the front. It might yet work for them. James to Ram was swift as it needed to be, and then James to Langdon, and Augustus rips it away. Leicester thought it was theirs, but it wasn't. A Yogan, that was nice. Pop up and then off the legs, the shins of Tom James, and Leicester will have the scrum.
Just going to look back at the try, Nick, actually, the setup of the play, because it's really clever. It's something they will have worked on. This is not off the cuff, because you look at the length of the pass, actually, takes out 5 defenders, and you watch Pollard. He's got no interest as first receiver, puts his hands up, but he knows where he's going. He knows he's going to the corner. That's 3 guys, actually, that beat 7 on the short side. So it has to have been a setup play. Can't have been off the cuff. It's a good finish in the end, isn't it? And when you've got the pace of Radwan outside, all you want to do is get the ball in his hands with 5 metres of space and he'll finish for you. The world of rugby for a winger is changing.
First scrum. Leicester tend to get a lot of penalties on their own feed this season. Would really help them to release some of this pressure. Northampton haven't quite clicked since they've been down here. Made a few mistakes, but there's been plenty to show their intent and what Leicester will face if they can pull that together.
Nothing puffing hard to hold on to that ball, and we'll have another go, so they'll puff even harder.
Nicky Smith there asking the question, but after it collapsed, he almost picked Trevor Davison back up and then started driving again, trying to force that penalty. He saw Van Portfleet looking at the referee, not wanting to get that ball out.
Has he got eyes in his ears? How can he see Van Portfleet? Is it possible? Can props actually see out of the scrum?
No, I said you saw Van Portfleet.
Oh, you saw. I thought you said he saw. I was like, how has he seen him?
Biology 101 with Austin Healy.
Portfleet in the Six Nations swing of things against Italy and Wales. Here's his first club game back since he hurt his knee against Toulouse in January. Denied Mitchell and Van Portfleet tonight. Thumped up by Kata. Oh, and then Van Portfleet seeing some space. He might have to do it on his own. He's got Tommy Raffel, a lot of time to gather here. Jack Van Portfleet, the ball down by his knees. How about that? Sheer class from JVP. Jack Van Portfleet with a try of some quality.
Well, Austin's just highlighted that this man is really starting to find his feet again. Playing with the advantage, has a look, no guard in place. Augustus gets taken out slightly on the clear out, so he can't bounce out. Pearson's gone too far, and then the control on the kick outside of the right boot, over Hendy perfectly, and this time the ball does sit up perfectly for him. And Leicester off to an absolute flyer.
All good, Stu? Yeah, thanks, mate.
There's a rather stunned hush around the Gardens as Pollard with the conversion. A dozen unanswered points early on for Leicester.
As you said, Ben, that's what that guy's superpower was. That's what got him into the England squad, the first choice 9 for a number of years. He lost it really when he broke his leg. Confidence is a big part of the game for a 9. But now he's getting a little bit momentum. He looks sharp again. Normally here, I think you'd see him chip and get stopped, but he had the acceleration, went all the way.
Wells was having to do a lot of backpedaling to try to get underneath that. Ball was in danger of going over his head. As it was knocked on, and Augustus can straighten things up. Liana Vanua.
Over.
Davison away to Finn Smith. Rory Hutchinson to Ram. He sets things 6-7 metres in from touch. There's Tom Lockett, 23-year-old, started the A game between England and Ireland last month.
Good timing.
Timing was from Henderson, and was more loose ball, and Woodward looking for some space, did brilliantly. And Cracknell takes it on.
Northampton overloaded this side. Could be short of numbers in that wide channel if Pollard can find it.
Let's have a look. It's Radwan chasing it, so never rule anything out when Radwan's chasing, but Tom Seabrook is back there, and he might find himself in a spot of bother here, Seabrook, and he's been dragged over the doorstep.
He had no choice, didn't he? Just chose to go the wrong way. He'd beaten Radwan to begin with, giving himself enough space, just should have put it on the left peg. There's the intercept. It's the third one now. Bouncing ball, through he goes. Like you said, Ben, keeps it alive really well. And it's a clever kick, isn't it, from Pollard into the backfield. Especially when you've got the gas of Radwan. Look at him, steps him. Now put it on your left foot, get rid. No, he goes again. You're not getting away from Radwan in that scenario in Coffin Corner.
It's hard for Seabrook because he had to be flatter up because of the lack of numbers on that wide channel. That's why Pollard thought the space would be there.
Henderson up highest, Cracknell looking for spaces. Oh my goodness, there was an acre that he drove through gleefully. And this is a Friday night full of early dreams if you're from the other side of the border. Northampton 0, Leicester 17.
Northampton think the drive's coming, little peel move. What happens to Seabrook?
Thank you.
Doesn't look like he's injured. He just literally got it wrong, got wrong-footed and slipped underneath himself. And Finn Smith was never going to be able to stop the power of Cracknell side on from 5 metres out. But Seabrook just seemed to fold.
I don't think you can blame Seabrook too much. I think the tail gunner Pearson here at the back of the line out. As a winger, I don't want a forward coming around the corner at me at full tilt. It's almost impossible to stop it. But we'll have a little look at it. I think Pearson at the back just puts his head down. He was at fault for the JVP break. He's been at fault for this. They won't be happy with him. But look at the back of the line out, Ben. Look at his head. His head's down, not looking up. That's too early to join a drive. Even if you think the driving, you've got to at least give the corner a little bit of a chance, because your winger and your fly off have got none.
It's really hard, isn't it? Because Leicester do get a march on there. We know they like to drive from short range. We're taking the air from Wells, and we're all complaining that what was Pearson doing, not getting in there quickly enough. That's the indecision that Leicester have exploited. And who would have thought, 13 minutes gone, 3 tries up.
You saw the look of consternation on Finn Smith's face as he got back up from trying and failing to make the tackle. He was asked to do an awful lot of work by those in front of him who perhaps hadn't, and a bit to chew on for Phil Dowson.
He has, but there's one team that's capable of taking a big early lead against them and then pinging it back with nothing seeming to play for, you know, the game looking like it's gone. I know it hasn't already, but it's Northampton. Very, very good at chasing games in a wide open style of play.
Well, you think of Northampton against Bath here, if you remember, you can stretch back that far at the start of the year. Their last home game here. Picking out teams who can resolve situations like this. And we're watching one of them to the left of the halfway at the moment, but it's been the strongest of Leicester starts. The thing that might go better for Leicester at the moment is the quality of Andre Pollard's kicking off the tees. Missed 2 of the 3 conversions. This is Hassel-Collins, and Ram tried to get over it quickly. Van Portfleet, Cracknell decided not to use Wells. Gave up half a metre or so, but not the ball. Stewart. And then Hayes, head down.
Sorry, JPP. Sorry, mate. My bad.
Apologies from Anthony Woodthorpe, getting in the way of the ball and its intended recipient, and George Hendy off the outside of his right boot.
I just think, though, he'll be furious in terms of the defence, Ben. Around the fringes, they're all over the place. Here's the JVP break. Look at all the people going in the wrong direction. First rule is get your guard in place. You don't run into the second position. Pearson again backs off. He thinks someone else is going to stand there. Gives the 5-metre channel. Then he doesn't get back for the kick. I seem to be picking on him. I hope his family don't write me a letter. But, you know, he's not had a particularly good start defensively to the game.
Beyond 15.
Asking a lot there of Cam Henderson, who was stretched to the full, but Leicester will get another go from the scrum.
Another groan from the home crowd. They can't believe how off their team are. Just little errors, rusty. Big break in the season for the Six Nations, and they look very, very rusty.
Leicester traditionally not the strongest starters so far this season over the opening quarter, but not tonight.
I thought the breakthrough was quite good, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Jusan, who is on for Cam Henderson, who's headed off for a head injury assessment. I was chatting with 1 or 2 Northampton supporters on the way into the ground who were a little bit concerned about their team off the back of international breaks. Generally, they are slow starters, and they've been slower than slow tonight.
It's hard, isn't it, when you give so many from one squad to that international team to get and often, you know, players that are left behind almost think, well, here come the cavalry, you know, we'll be instantly better. It puts so much pressure on the likes of Finn Smith to slot straight back in. Really, you need some of the other players to lead. I thought Curtis Langdon was doing a really good job of that early on.
Com Jusan, who is with us perhaps temporarily for Henderson. James Ram is happily restored. Hendy, Ram and Seabrook, Northampton's back 3 in that Premiership Cup quarter-final against Ealing Trailfinders earlier in the month.
Set. 9, use the ball. Down on the mark.
Woodward again at 12 tonight, slotting in alongside Solomon Akata. That is a muscular midfield partnership, trying to release the speed of players like Radwan. Cracknell. Pollard. Montosha. Kata. Stewart. Hoping that Hassel-Collins might cotton on to this, and in the end, Finn Smith got there first.
I know they're 3 tries up, Leicester, but they seem like they're playing a lot better attacking rugby at the moment. Yeah. One of our criticisms of them early on in the season was too many individual runners taking the ball off 9, running it up into a brick wall. Now you're seeing those little tip-on passes, and that's creating a little bit less line speed against them, which means they can play out of the back and play a bit more expansive, as we've seen.
And I wondered if Finn Smith actually took it over the line himself, and he did. So it's a Leicester line out. Liebenberg at the front. Oh, it was meant for him, and he was up too early and down too early. And now Northampton have ball that they wouldn't have been expecting.
I think he didn't get a lift behind. Now they can attack, though.
They can, with Hutchinson. First time, ball in hand, offering some kind of threat. That's gone forwards. Montoya, Liebenberg for Leicester. Battling for the space in and around halfway. Rafael, this is Harry Wells. Pollard, to chase for Radwan. Too close to Hendy, but he's got to employ some footwork here, and again he's being chased by Woodward and by Radwan. He did well to straighten things up.
He's so good, that kid. Very difficult to put down. Great count, great counter-attacker.
Smith, Dingwall, Hutchinson, Ram. Montoya was over the ball earliest and wins the penalty.
I mean, his only fault at the minute is that moustache. His feet are electric. He's got brilliant strength and fend. You know, he makes, what, 10 metres there where he shouldn't? And that is so valuable to his support players. You might have guessed I quite like him as a player.
Yeah, George Furbank still recovering from the fractured arm in the Champions Cup in Pretoria in December, but in Hendy they have reasonable backup.
Leicester happy to go to the corner. I wondered if they might just bank those points. It was such a nothing penalty that for them to be given by Northampton. Just wondered if they might take it out to a 20. Happy to back themselves.
Leicester score lots of tries from lineouts. This one starts 10 metres out. Liebenberg gritting his teeth, shouting the odds. And Portfleet needs to give it a little bit wider to Catter, who takes the big hit from Finn Smith. Amongst many things we're learning about Smith over the course of this season is that he tackles like a train as well. He absolutely does his job in that defensive 10 channel. Northampton have got to do the job defensively here again. Leicester building with menace.
Let it go.
Stewart. Leicester looking for the bonus point securing try. Barely a quarter of the way through the match. Rafael. Hayes, double tackle, went backwards. But the ball went forwards and Northampton have it. That's better. Not been much to shout about here so far for the homesters, but that was.
Yeah, this is the first thing Portfleet's done wrong, actually. Just takes away all Hayes' options by hesitating a fraction too long and giving him it man and ball. Really, Hayes wants that in the breadbasket early on, but he just wanted to see whether the guard were going to drift off him and give him a chance to zip in under the posts.
Talking about the defensive work of Finn Smith, but Fraser Dingwall as well brought in and did a job in England's midfield the closing 2 weekends of the Six Nations, and just the quality of that tackle down low. It's a body jolting, ball dislodging tackle. He does it so well.
That's their route back into the game, isn't it? Some big momentum shifting moments, a couple of big tackles, a big carry. We've seen them starting to play a little bit better with ball in hand.
Wait for the ball. Wait for the ball.
Unless they're going too soon with the shove. Smith off a free kick. Hassel-Collins. Freshly peroxide blonde hair. Oh, and he's made his way through. He's still going. Goodness me. Saints first up tackling in those situations at the moment, leaving a little bit to be desired, and that's a ferocious hit. Kemeny as Montoya went in.
First look looks fine.
Okay.
Montoya's on his feet, but the ball's not coming to him. Leicester outnumbered.
Great power from Hassel-Collins. Oh dear. That's the... No, it doesn't look like there's head-on-head there, does there?
Fine.
Yeah, it's just chest to shoulder.
Timo is Stuart Terriage.
Hi, Boston.
So Curtis Langdon, trained with England throughout the Six Nations, one of those who played for the England A team, brilliantly taken by Hutchinson down low. Oh, and Ram getting it away to Hendy, and this is the left winger Seabrook trying to create some havoc, but as far and no further as the rain starts to fall in the East Midlands.
Just nothing's going right for Northampton at the moment. Brilliant offload from Ram, does the first bit perfectly, buys his time, treads water behind Finn Smith, gets tackled, great offload. Seabrook doesn't think he's got the pace to do. Radwin cuts back inside, but Hendy trips over. He would have been part of the clear out, but he trips over a Leicester player in the backfield. He's not there. Leicester get the penalty.
Well, that tackle from Joseph Woodward, had a bit of the Luke Cowan-Dickey about it in Cardiff last weekend. I wonder where Saints might be now, but for that little clip on the ankles and the work of Freddie Stewart. So with a wetter ball, thrower and catcher with new challenges. It was meant for Liebenberg.
Through the mark.
Decent work in the air from Lockett, but not quite decent enough.
One area that hasn't been going brilliantly for Leicester, the line out.
Side entry, white one.
Penalty against the Yogan.
Saints one, yes. Yeah, Saints one.
So,
one Saints in the side.
kick to stretch Northampton's defence, but will come back for the earlier penalty, Manny Yogan.
Well, I don't know why they're playing because the whistle's gone, but whilst they're doing this, I think this is a bit of hope actually for how Saints can get back into the game. It's really nice play. Look at Smith and Ram there. They get James out wide, gets you 9 in a position where he can throw a 20-metre pass. Look how many defenders that takes out the way. But then you've got the two guys still connected. You get to the corner, one steps out the shadows and he almost gets through. If Ram breaks through there, it's a certain try. You've got 3 other guys on their feet outside him. That's the way that Saints get back into the game, by executing that just slightly better and finishing it off. It's not helping them that the heavens have opened, though, is it?
Saints out the gap. Tigers come
Cam
up.
Henderson has passed his head injury assessment. He'll be back on in the next couple of minutes for Com Joussin. Liebenberg, so often Leicester's #1 line-out target. It's a wide pass to try to open things up for Leicester, but it's also loose, and Stewart flicks it up off the turf. Montosha tries to restore some order. Didn't make much ground. He was brought down by Hutchinson. And Portfleet says the kick's the option, Liebenberg the chasers. Also Hassel Collins, Hendy the catch.
Is Montosha the only man you've ever seen, Nick, who can run with his head below his knees and keep moving forward?
It's Pollard.
Out the 10.
It's Langdon over the top, not quite. Cracknell. Pollard held on to it just with his left hand. It looked like it was meant for Catter. Instead it was Hassel Collins before he was tipped up, and Northampton were hands on the floor. Rory Hutchinson in his eagerness.
12 off feet. Into his hands.
I think he felt when he first got there, I've got this. And it's very difficult with the temptation as you go off your feet not to carry on.
The second one's criminal, isn't it? His first attempt's fine, but you can't scoop the ball back with your hand in front of the referee. So the coaching staff of Saints will be absolutely furious with how they've handed everything to Leicester. Look at the carries. Very similar, but lots more metres for Leicester.
Sam Vesti, Phil Dowson, shake of the head. You don't need us to tell us how they're feeling at the moment. Off she goes through the raindrops, curls in, fades it in perfectly. Not played half an hour. Michael Chequers, Leicester, in one of their biggest games of the season, lead the champions 20-0.
I know they'll obviously want their bonus point, Leicester, but I think it's really wise just to every time you can take points, take them, because in these games you start kicking for the corner and trying to take... Well, here we go. Ooh. The referee had a good view. He's convinced it goes forward off the Northampton hand. Yeah, he's right. Ram does really well to get up there.
Yeah, we can go here.
Premiership Derby weekend, double header with us on TNT Sports. Tomorrow we'll take to the magnificent Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the afternoon kick-off between Sarries and Quins, then to Ashton Gate for the early evening affair, Bristol and Exeter, and then Sunday it's the wreck for the leaders Bath Gloucester, 2:30 on TNT1, and then the rugby reviews on the way afterwards with Craig and Austin and Sam.
Crouch! Bind!
We've got a Saturday night of UFC as well in London on air, 5 o'clock, TNT and Discovery Plus. Britain's Leon Edwards and American rising star Sean Brady headlining. Ollie Cracknell would be fairly good at UFC, and he drew that ball away from Leicester's scrum. Van Portfleet clears long. Where's this bouncing? Hendy was there. We're going to have a chat with Sam Vesti in a minute or so. I can imagine how Sam's feeling. James Ram offering some hope. Saints looking for inspiration. Mayana Vanua, Smith away quickly, and that's gone forwards. Now it's a penalty. Let's have a chat with Sam. Sam, you just must be. It must be a bag full of frustration at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much. We look very clunky out there. It looks like we've been a bit shocked by how fast the game's gone, and actually that's what we're very good at. Falling off too many tackles allowed them to have too much physical dominance as well.
8 handling errors. Did you look okay in training this week? Did you look sharp enough?
Yeah, but it's you put it under as much pressure as you can in training. But it's not the same as a game, and we haven't played for a little while, and that's exactly what it looks like. This, obviously, we knew it was going to be a bit clunky, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be 20 points clunky.
Sammy, you got your hands full. We'll let you get on with your job. Thanks for your time.
Very much.
Pollard again from the tee, and Leicester now lead by 23.
That was the point I was just making about the decision to go for the points. Again, bit of a shot to nothing because of where the penalty was given away, but often teams can just get comfortable and they stop playing a little bit, and they're throwing the ball around because they've got a big lead, and that's what invites teams back in. So just taking points every time they're on offer is just another body blow to this Saints psychology.
Brilliant contest between Hendy and Stewart. Hendy doesn't look well at the moment. He ran away from that, holding his back. He was still up in the air, making it tough for Leicester's fullback. Van Portfleet, no messing around with the rain coming down, a slippy ball. He's saying to Northampton, do what you can from your own half. And you're giving the ball to as often as enough. I mean, when teams are making the mistakes, as many mistakes as Northampton are making at the moment, Leicester don't want to interrupt them, do they?
Not really, but, like Sam said then, that they look clunky, but Leicester look really good. Look like they've not been away. They've not played with this sort of flow for... We didn't see it in December, that's for sure. One of the last times they played, they conceded nearly 90 points, wasn't it? So they've certainly gotten something right. And that'll be really interesting as this weekend goes on and all the sides come back together. What have sides done that works, that gets them moving when they get back? What gets them up to speed quicker than the opposition? It's certainly been the case with Leicester. They have been handed those opportunities. We've got to take them.
By the way, Leicester have had a change of defence coach since we last saw them in the Premiership. Matt Everard has stepped away, and they've brought in New Zealander David Kidwell, a man with plenty of rugby league feathers in his cap, increasingly union as well. He worked with Michael Cheika at Argentina at the World Cup, and he's taking time away from his role with Japan alongside Eddie Jones at the moment. Eddie happy for him to continue his education in the Premiership, and there he is alongside attack coach Peter Hewitt. We'll talk to Peter later, but Kidwell seems a very astute signing, as much as it is until the end of the season.
But also just having that mini pre-season, as a lot of teams call this little break, allows you to work on some of the things that haven't been going that well. So Pete Hewitt has had that opportunity to look at what they did in the first half of the season and address some of those issues. He looks like he's done a really good job.
Pollard and Van Portfleet playing the game together. This is Liebenberg and Radwan. Running into Tom Pearson. Henderson for Leicester. Pollard again, coming down in the rain. Hassel Collins underneath it. Went backwards under pressure from Hendy, so Leicester can go again. Van Portfleet, the captain, Montosha. Stewart accelerating onto it. Again, such was the force of the tackle, the double tackle, that the ball spat loose.
Unfortunately for him, he's not that easy to hide, is he? 6'4", 19 stone, whatever he is. It's a little bit telegraphed. They pick him off quite easily. Probably better dropping that out the back behind him there, because he's so big, he pulls in 2 defenders.
There'll be people saying there, did he knock it on? Because the ball actually ends up going backwards, but because it went forwards off him onto the Northampton player, that's why it's a knock on, even though he managed to bat it backwards at the end.
First game for a while for Freddie Stewart. Started in the Six Nations opener in Dublin, you'll remember. Decision to move Marcus Smith to fullback, costing him test caps.
It's frustrating, that, Nick, when you're in the England squad and you're hanging around at training, you're not in the 23 and you're holding bags. You're just desperate to play.
And Nicky Smith gets back up with a look of consternation on his face, but Anthony Woodthorpe deciding that that scrum did go down. Kind of get the impression, though, Oz, we won't talk about the Six Nations because we've got a game in front of us, but that question about Freddie Stewart and England going forward, they're creating options, aren't they? It's certainly not the last we've seen of Freddie Stewart.
Definitely not.
Finn Smith seems to have nailed down the 10 shirt for the time being. Job on his hands back in club business tonight. There he is, whipping the ball away, and Hutchinson trying to do likewise. Hendy chasing what was in the end a lost cause.
Overran that slightly, but he had to make that break, didn't he? He reaches back, very nearly takes the ball with him.
Has to be right on the line, doesn't it, to make the gap? But just going back to Stewart, actually, you know, we all move into Lions tour chat now. I think they should pick him in the Lions. And people go, whoa, hold on a sec. Blair King gone, Marcus Smith, all the other fullbacks. But get an Australian game and you know it's going to hose it down. I know, I'd want at the back of the pitch.
Hugo Keenan.
Well, there you go. Look, there's some great discussions, but I still think he's a valid variety pick rather than going, everyone else seems to be the same. He is a standout differential player under the high ball.
Someone else who's not playing tonight in green that might have a say in the conversation as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes missing the... If your stock's high, sometimes missing a Six Nations and you don't make any mistakes when you're out can really put you up the pecking order.
Matt Dawson, 97, didn't play for the whole season and got picked, and that was lucky for him because he didn't get to see how rubbish he was.
By the way, George Furbank and the fractured arm that's kept him out since Christmas is back in light training. He's not taking full contact yet, but Saints hoping to have Furbank back before too long. Hamish Schmales observing things with his arms folded, looking very studious under his beard. Hamish. Gareth Holsgrove, the other touch judge on this near side.
What's Hamish thinking, Nick? What's going through his head now?
He's thinking, I might put Freddie Stewart in my Lions bolting squad, you know. I've just heard Austin talking absolute sense.
He's definitely not thinking that.
Good extra ground from Cracknell there. Such an important player for Leicester this season.
Hendy. Oh, he did well. It's been a very challenging night for him and every Northampton player so far, but he and Smith and Langdon trying to change fortunes. It was gathered in by Liebenberg and looked like it was he who took it out, so it is a Northampton throw.
You know, we've done a lot of talking this evening already about Michael Checker going and Pollard going, but I think one of the things that was maybe making Leicester stumble in the November, December, January period was that Pollard was arguably playing a little bit too much rugby. He was chucking the ball about too much. I think Michael Checker wanted more kicking from him. Pollard wanted to play a little bit more like the attractive South African fly halves. Now that he knows that he's leaving, maybe he's starting to follow the orders a little bit more and play his better style of game. Kicked a lot this evening so far.
James. Get Saints going. Crowd trying to get Saints going. Got a pass from Hutchinson to Smith, who doesn't have much room to operate in. It's Pearson.
Steps away.
Hendy. Lockett. Pearson back on his feet. He's ready to involve himself again and does so immediately.
Lost it forward, hasn't he?
Backwards, according to Anthony Woodthorpe. Smith gives it some height. Stewart, oh, and good battle again between him and Ram.
What a brilliant kick that was. Couldn't have been better placed. Really good competition in the air. Hassel-Collins did well to hoover up the crumbs that came down.
No! Use it!
Van Portfleet, a lot of kicking off Leicester's 9 and 10 right now, but it's working for them, putting pressure on the likes of Ram, pinning them back in their own half, forcing them to work from deep, forcing Mayana Vanua and co to work from deep. Yogan goes in to clear the ball. James with his left boot this time, and again Stewart comes forwards, sprints onto it, in the end overran it. And Saints have it with Mayana Vanua into the 40th minute. What they would give for a try to offer some consolation heading into half-time, and it's a 50-22, and they'll have an attacking line-out at the end of a half that's really been all Leicester.
I think it got taken back into the half, so it's not a 50-22.
It was passed back, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's just there it is, just, yeah.
10 seconds, Ish. Let's go!
Leicester trying to run that clock down.
No, it wasn't. No,
and then a bit of confusion about the call when they got there, which prolonged it even longer.
It's been 18 months since Northampton failed to score a first half point here. Wells winning the line out, and Jack Van Portfleet finishing a dreamy first 40 minutes for Leicester. If that famous beer manufacturer did East Midlands Derby's first half, that's it for Leicester. Northampton, reintroducing themselves to the Gallagher Premiership, would love to start again. Half-time at the Gardens, Northampton 0, Leicester 23. Oh, we saw Henry Pollock warming up down below us fairly vigorously on his own towards the end of half-time, so I can't imagine it'll be long before we see him. Berger Odendahl might be already on for Rory Hutchinson, and there he is. First Premiership game of the season. First time since a terrible knee injury, horrible injury in the final last June against Bath. It's his first game since the semi-final against Saracens when he scored a try here. Can the return of Odendahl spark Saints into life? Henry Pollock not far away down below us, can't be far away either. First take for Tom Seabrook. It's Augustus.
Use it! Inside.
Talking to Leicester's backs and attack coach, Peter Hewitt, in a moment or two. We'll let Pete settle in.
Tackle knees!
He watches Freddie Stewart drive it up initially, and Leicester with ball on halfway. Van Portfleet to Pollard, and again the high kick. I'll have a word with Pete about Leicester's kicking tactics. It's certainly drawing rewards, and another knock-on advantage here, so they'll have the scrum. Goodness me, the advantage didn't last long, but that'll do from Freddie Stewart. So let's have a chat with Peter Hewitt. Peter, the kicking tactics first, have they changed as this match has gone on, or was that always the plan?
No, mate, it was always the plan. Obviously away from home, yeah, we've really nailed down that, mates, and hopefully it can continue in the second half.
Ben and Austin both saying you've looked so sharp in attack. You put in a lot of work during the couple of months we've been away from all this, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. Obviously, we gained some confidence during the Prem Cup, and the boys have come back and trained really hard the last couple of weeks. And mate, it's been the back of our defence game. Like, I think our defence has been really, really good.
Let's just see where Freddie Stewart takes us, taking Leicester up to within 10 metres.
Hopefully he takes us over the try line, mate.
Well, let's see that little... No. That was right option, right, yes or no, Pete, on that?
It wasn't the kicking game we discussed, mate.
It wasn't, no. You've mentioned David Kidwell there, who's come in over the last month or so. What kind of work has he been doing? What kind of improvements have you seen?
I've been doing a lot of work around the tackle, mate. Like, Dave's obviously a really experienced defence coach in both codes, and look, he's just he brought in a lot of grunts around our tackle, and you can hopefully see that. And we're getting off the back of that, we're getting some nice turnover opportunities.
What was the top line at half-time?
Do the same, mate.
Nothing formed.
Nothing changes.
No. Thanks for your time, Pete. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it was a shank, that, wasn't it, from Pollard off the outside of the boot. It was definite try if he'd got the kick right.
So Collins threads it down the line.
What a good kick that was under huge pressure, having to reach above his head to collect the ball. He just drops it onto his toe, gets some good meters. Now put pressure on the Northampton line out.
Curtis Langdon, Northampton's hooker, to Josh Kemeny.
Take it back in.
Wallaby, a couple of caps to his name. Long tosher over the ball that spat away. Davison kept it alive for Northampton. Finn Smith looking for holes. Leicester this time conceding the penalty, and it's frustration for Cracknell.
Yeah, Cracknell just got trapped in there. Montoya really should have left that spotted. Cracknell tried to move out the way, but just couldn't roll far enough back to his own side. Referee tried to warn Montoya, shouted no. See, as he tries to roll, he can't quite go far enough.
They've marshalled Finn Smith pretty well, though, haven't they? That show and go that he's been notorious for recently. They've always made sure there's a defender on his inside.
By now taken by Lockett, Smith, Pearson. Trying to create Saints momentum. Been precious little so far tonight. Here goes Dingwall with a new centre partner. Seabrook still on the wing. Odendahl on for Hutchinson in midfield.
It's a fairly weighty head-to-head, that, isn't it? Odendahl and Kata.
Pearson. Half a break. Smith doesn't use a Yogan, and then Dingwall over the top to Hendy. And then Kemeny. Thinking if Leicester got the next try, that might be that. Northampton get the next try. Who knows? Came back from 26-0 up here last season against Exeter to win. We know they have history. The great escapologist. They need to do it again here. Here's Hendy running into Hassel Collins. Lockett. Brought down by Smith. Dingwall takes the hit, but not before he'd found Langdon. Those phases in the match, and that's where we lose the fluency. Might have noticed, by the way, the headgear that Curtis Langdon, Northampton's hooker, is wearing tonight. It's a special scrum cap made just for this evening, in the colour of his old club Hornets down in Weston-super-Mare. And if we see the front of it, if he turns around, good lad, Curtis. There's the number 5, which is in memory of his friend and mentor, Phil Hogarth, who sadly isn't with us anymore, but it's being auctioned off after the match to raise some cash for the Western Hospice Care. So I'm sure if you Google that, and if you fancy getting a souvenir of tonight, then Curtis would be very happy to take your cash, as would Western Hospice.
Right, Tommy. Rebel.
Just a reminder that we have some more UFC tomorrow night. UFC in the capital. We're on air from 5 on TNT and Discovery Plus. Leon Edwards against Sean Brady headlining. And then it's second legs of the UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinals next week. Wednesday night, Arsenal trying to come from 2-0 down after their first leg against Real Madrid, and then on Thursday Chelsea trying to do likewise at home to Manchester City. Henry Pollock's about to come on for Tom Lockett, and the aforementioned Henry Pollock for Joano Augustus, but it's Leicester going again. Van Portfleet, Leicester looking for a fourth try. Scored their third try after 12 minutes, so it's been a while, and that's as far as they'll go in that latest excursion.
Well, how well does Finn Smith do? Targeting of the ball, exposed runner on his own, and it just forces JVP to move the ball around on the floor. Cracknell does well to control and pick up. The offload's good. You wondered if he might try the little kick over the top like he did in the first half, but watch Smith here, the targeting perfect. And you just saw the movement of the ball on the floor. Penalty given.
Augustus, there was that crossing? Bulk of those inside the stadium are sold out. Franklin's Gardens haven't heard the referee, Anthony Woodfill. There was obstruction just there. Berger Odendahl.
Seen those ignored though in the past. It's close.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit harsh. Obviously the referee's got a different angle from behind. Maybe the appeal from Kata helps him.
Well, here come the cavalry, and a huge roar, and the enthusiasm that Henry Pollock always brings. Home return for Saints' latest England international, England's youngest ever Six Nations try scorer, the brace off the bench in Cardiff. 20 years and 60 days then. And Kata motoring his way up. Cracknell. Leicester hitting heavy up the middle for the time being, with Radwan to the right and Hassel Collins to the left. That look forwards.
He's a 9, he's part of the ruck. Do not play the
you see that? Yes, you. Bondry now, Ben. It's an easy kick. Doesn't really make any difference to the points. You're outside 3 scores. You go for. I think you go for the bonus point now and put it in the corner.
Particularly with the field position and the fact that they haven't been down here for long.
No, they've gone for the post though.
I don't mind that philosophy, but yeah, I'm with you. It's just a mindset, really, isn't it? Right, we're just going to keep taking the score. We're not going to look like a team that think they've got this game won.
They also know there's more than half an hour to go.
No, it's just gone across.
I understand that, Nick, but mathematically, leading by 23 or leading by 26 doesn't really make that much difference.
I don't know what that means to them.
It's 3 tries or 4 tries.
Yeah.
But they're running to the end of the season. One extra bonus point can mean everything.
Pollard's penalty, Northampton 0, Leicester 26, and if Saints are to come back and win this, it would equal their greatest ever comeback. That's the scale of the task ahead of them now. Leicester still searching for that 4th bonus point securing try. Brought down by Mayana Vanua.
Go, empty. Hold in front.
Pollard. Nice and long and safe.
Just that last penalty's one of those new laws that's come in, that's being applied, that if you're involved in the ruck, as Kemeny is here, you can't then play the 9, get up and play the 9. He has free rein in a metre radius around the breakdown, so comes through.
Oh, here goes Pollock doing the things course he does! It's extraordinary, but it's a brilliant tackle from Radwan. Pollock lays it back, set it up for Seabrook. Seabrook tries to squeeze over. No. And he tried too hard, but the break from Pollock set up the opportunity.
Well, this guy is electric. What an impact. Gets through JBP's tackle. The swerve on Pollard, is outstanding. Radwan just gets back, but then you can see him scrabbling himself. Referee has prime position to see it. It's not a popular decision here, but he's absolutely spot on. But what an impact from that fella.
That's what you want, isn't it? He looked wired when he came on, didn't he? I thought he'd had way too much coffee before he came on at half-time. But that is an impact. That's what you want off the bench. You keep hearing all the chat that he's too arrogant, he's too cocky. Who cares? He can do that.
That was an electric break.
What you also saw is a benefit of Radwan. Not many people catch him there.
It was great work initially in the air from Kemeny, but Leicester eventually won the ball before kicking it away to Hendy. There's a little bit of extra hope in the air right now, particularly if Ram can do some special things. But Leicester's defence, engineered these days by David Kidwell, who's joined the club recently, now working hard. It's a penalty to Northampton. This will be drilled towards the corner.
4 stands up and lost side possession, preventing Saints getting to the ball.
Well, first time we've seen a real spark of belief from Saints. You can hear on the ref mic being picked up. Now we're starting to build. They have to capitalise here, though.
Alex Coles will be an option in this line-out, part of England's wider Six Nations squad over the last couple of months. Here he is, number 19, at the tail of it. It's taken in the end by Kemeny, and then Langdon looking to cotton on to Odendahl. How many handling errors is that? Well, it's at least 12 now, maybe 13. Leicester have made 4.
Good contest.
Pollock.
Advantage 12, he's part of the ruck.
Hustle backwards.
The player playing 9.
Leicester conceding penalties at the moment.
Kind of ward there.
Tommy Raffel picked up. This is James. Tackled by Pollard. Iogan. Dingwall. This is Smith. Leicester need to keep an eye on this, and Stewart and Collins combining, and they're turning this into a much tougher challenge than maybe it ought to have been.
That's a penalty, can't pull it back in.
It's all very casual, that.
Here's the kick, though. The kick was really good. Just the right amount of weight on it and pace.
Well, they've gone quickly. Iogan stretching is over. Oh, I think he's dropped it. Oh. As he tried to turn, we'll go and have a word with Gareth Holsgrove.
No, I'm on side, so I haven't got a grounding either. Okay, so hold on. So yeah, third question, is it a try, yes or no? Stu?
Question for Stuart Terridge.
Yes, Ant.
Can you just check try, yes or no, please? I don't have an on-field decision because I haven't actually seen a grounding, but I also haven't seen it lost forward.
Understood.
Either.
No spot of the ball, try, yes or no?
Of course. That's the only thing.
Oh, lost that, I think. It's whether it's down first, but I don't think it
Initial
is.
view, lost the ball, just check in. Yeah,
Does it
separation,
just
lost the ball,
touch?
Does it just touch there?
Can you just start it from the tap as well, please?
Does it touch
Just the
here?
angles. It does look like it's lost forward.
No.
Oh, Nicky Smith's head's in the way
Say
anyway.
again, you want?
Can you start the clip from the quick tap, please?
Yes, okay.
I think he's just checking that Leicester were back on the line.
So my only question, Stu, can you just confirm whether or not the tackler was rapping as he went to make the tackle?
Let's just slow down a minute, mate.
Yeah.
So, slow down, Woody. So I think we want to look at see whether the player's on the ground and makes a legal tackle prior on the tap. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, want to check that there was arms in the tackle, please.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, understood.
Yeah. We'll have a look. Sads, just give us a second.
actually just
That's
almost slips over, doesn't he?
Yeah, for me, he slips underneath there, and I think he is attempting to wrap. So
It's a knock on, isn't it?
there's no penalty
5
against
metre
Sek,
scrum.
and then it's lost forward in goal, so therefore big goal line dropout.
Agreed.
Happy? No, nothing there. Goal line.
Incidentally, that conversation, if you're tuning in to Ashton Gate with us tomorrow night, or you're at Ashton Gate tomorrow night for the Bristol Exeter Premiership game, you'll be able to hear that conversation, because Carl Dixon, for the first time in the Premiership, will be beamed around the stadium just like they were in the Six Nations, and that makes absolute sense to me, that conversations we can hear are also being paid by those who paid for their tickets to be inside the stadium. Anyway, we'll hear that tomorrow. Oh my goodness,
I'm not in line.
that looked like it went forwards, but Hendy gets another go, though we're talking point if they score from this, and Pollock does.
He's not convinced, is he?
This isn't a knock-on hobby shot.
That's fine, we'll go time off, just so you have time to check it. I'm not in line, so I need him to check it. All right, at the moment, on-field try.
It hits him on the chest.
Time is off. Time's off. I do need him to make sure he has another one.
Hands backwards, forwards off the chest, was it? I don't know.
It's 100% knock-on, isn't it? Regardless of who you've ever played for.
It's gone through the arms to the chest, it's gone knock-on. There you go.
Yeah, it looks like it's gone back over the shoulder. Doesn't look like a clear knock-on to me.
What?
So, would you just bear with me? We're going to need to look at this. Right.
Okay. Time is off.
Well, the busiest man at the moment is Stuart Terridge, and
it's gone forward.
I sense that Stuart Terridge thinks it's gone forwards as well.
This is the one, Woody. So through chest, hands, off the head. Yeah.
And then it's gone forward.
And it's gone forward. So that is not a knock-on in law.
But it's come off. It's touched his hands. It is a knock-on because it's touched his hands and then gone forward, Stu.
But it's gone onto his. Okay, it's gone onto his body first, though, mate. Afterwards.
Okay, yeah, but if it's still touching his hands and goes forward.
Okay, understood where you want to go. Yeah, understood where you want to go. Yeah.
Can you just get me the mark, please? I think it's on the 10-metre line, is it?
It is, yeah.
Well, once again, a conversation that those inside the stadium are about to get the gist of.
Well, shock, the Saints fans don't agree.
14 handling errors, and the 14th is perhaps the most painful. Leicester change. Tommy Raffel being replaced by Amika Ilioni, and Henry Pollock's try on this occasion, 6 days after his 2 against Wales, does not count.
3 disallowed tries now for them as well. You can understand the frustration. A scrabble for the line after the Henry Pollock break. The one that was knocked on the line, and then that one. They're doing their best to get back into this Saints, but it's just not happening for them.
Start again. Control the weight. Don't fall forward.
You have to say, though, I know it was forward, but it's a lovely piece of skill from Hendy when he does create the opportunity. Little chip over and gather a very short space of time.
Crouch! Bind!
I'm in the Hendy fan club, just so you know, Nick.
Use it! 8 changes lanes! 8, you change lanes, use the ball! I've asked him to use the ball. 8 changes lanes, he has to use the ball. I've asked him to use the ball.
Here's what I was talking about, Nick. I know you wanted to see it.
He doesn't turn over ball. 8 changes lanes, he must play away.
It's a decent kick out. It's a knock on, clearly, but then he reacts, a little kick, the gather, picks up, and then a pass for the try. Beats one player.
See your Lions fullback.
Well, you want a bolter? Who was the last uncapped Lions player?
Will Greenwood.
Will Greenwood. Bit of a difficult position to get in, 15, isn't it?
There's a little bit of competition. But yeah, I'm with you on George Hendy, as I'm sure everyone watching this is. He's a very special young player.
So do you want a subscription to the fan club?
What do you get?
Pardon?
Do you get stickers and everything? Yeah, exactly.
Stickers and posters.
Red wig. Here goes Pollock.
That's gone forward. Play scrum advantage.
That's gone forwards. Leicester will have the scrum and they'll need it because it was Hendy who came away with it.
That'll be on a montage of clips that I send to you as part of the package.
Yeah, it's gone forward. Ball's clearly gone forward.
You don't want to know the price of the subscription, though, Nick.
Yeah, I'm going to come this side.
It's heavy.
Leicester ball.
Well, Drico before the game was saying if Saints lose this, that's it for them. In terms of trying to retain their title. I don't know what you two think.
Well, they're currently in 8th. They'll have 6 games left after this. And they could be as many as 14 points behind Leicester if Leicester get the bonus point.
And they'd have to win at Sale next week, where they've not won since 2017.
I just think psychologically it's so damaging for them. Yes, it's the big derby, but they will have spent all the last couple of months talking about how quick they were going to start, how good their attack was going to be, and they've made so many errors.
So Collins, long kick. Leicester desperate to change the geography of this match, but that's not going to help. What you would say about Northampton is that 4 of their remaining 6 regular season games after this are away from the Gardens, which doesn't make it any easier. Sale, as you say, Oz, then Newcastle, Exeter away, Gloucester away. They're at home to Bristol and Saracens, which aren't gimmies either. This does feel like a seminal match, even if mathematically it won't be, should they lose it. Odendal amongst those trying to match their record ever comeback. Smith to Hendy.
Those handling errors just keep mounting up. I know it's wet, but it's just almost a sign of their psychology at the moment, isn't it?
And Tiger 3, please.
This is Luke Green, 23-year-old, introducing himself to the Premiership this season. He's replaced Trevor Davison, and Joe Hayes replaced by Dan Cole. There's an experience gap there between the 2 tight head replacements, nearing 250 games now in the Premiership.
He's not 23, is he, Dan Cole?
Stone.
Tiger scrum. Time on.
This, by the way, is Cole's 248th Premiership appearance, 29 of them now in East Midlands derbies. So what he is an East Midlands derby expert.
Do you think he ever thought he'd be a man of the media like he is now?
It's a good listen, that, isn't it?
Yep.
Podcast with Ben and Ben Young.
Take your word for it.
No, it is.
Stand up. Stand up. Can't play the scrum, sir.
Just need Van Poorfleet to come off, and we've got Anton Deck back together.
You can't play the scrum, though. Come on, then.
Dan Cole thinks he's still in the podcast. He's answering away.
You pulled out, I stay where I was. Who fucking knows?
Oh, apologies. Apologies for the language.
Come on. Dan, come on.
Presume the podcast's not PG then.
You don't have to apologise for language on there. Talking to a one-man audience just then. He was Manny Yogan.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Crackle.
Chosen to play away.
To get beyond the scrum, give his team something to bite onto, run onto. Van Poorfleet. Hendy again can't hold on to it. It's one of those nights for George Hendy. Wow.
18 handling errors. It doesn't take into account the turnovers as well, which I think were double figures at half-time, weren't they?
Do you know my worry for them? I know it's Leicester's put in, but There's no urgency from that Saints pack to get bound up and hurry this game on. They've got to put whatever's going through their minds behind them really quickly. This game's ticking away from them, and they need to force the pace of it and put the referee under pressure to get Leicester set up and ready to play.
It's going to be a difficult weekend for Lee Radford and the other Northampton coaches. Leicester haven't scored a try, though, since the 12th minute, and they've got 20 left to get what could be an important bonus point, securing one. Woodward, Pollard, Stewart. Oh, and Radwan was away if the pass had been a little bit more accurate.
Just that wet ball, couldn't get, he wanted to really a spin pass here to keep the flight of the ball straight. It swung away from Radwan, but just under pressure, couldn't quite get it through his hands and in the right position to make it a more direct pass.
But equally with his pace, he doesn't need to be that wide. He can actually be a metre away from Freddie Stewart, get the ball in his hands a lot quicker, and then he's got an in and out option as opposed to just gas down the line.
James ripping it away to pick out Dingwall. Northampton have brought on Henry Walker, by the way. Or rather, Tarek Hafar has come on.
Third Liebenberg intercept.
Van Portfleet, bouncing ball, could be anyone's ball. It's claimed by James.
Never on the ball. Use it.
Northampton's replacement scrum half, by the way, is Johnny Wyman, young Johnny Wyman, 18-year-old, would be his Premiership debut, with Alex Mitchell taking this weekend off mandatorily. So there aren't a pile of options left on the bench now for them. Leicester, in the meantime, have got Ben Youngs. But Leicester, still 3 tries and not yet 4. Those Saints changes, by the way. Chunya Munga for Timo Miana-Vanua and Tarek Hafar for Mani Yoga.
Oh, there. Come on. It's open now.
There's Luke Green ready to do some lifting. Instead, it's Montosha playing the short 1-2. Van Portfleet. There's Liebenberg for Leicester. Cracknell. It's been 50 minutes since Cracknell scored Leicester's last try. Pollard. And the raindrops coming down. Cleared up by Dingwall off the floor. Here's Hendy. And Portfleet tried to rip that one away, but still Northampton.
Tackle now! And use it!
Oh, it's been charged down. And there's work for Hendy to do. Being chased as he was by Henderson. Henderson did well to hold his ground. Didn't fly in off his feet and concede the penalty. Make it easy for Northampton to get away, but there is the penalty. Goes against the Mika Ilioni.
He's frustrated with that penalty, thought he'd done a really good job. As you said, didn't commit to the tackle, but then did really well once he'd made the tackle to roll out of there. Targets the ball and the foot, rather than just going high with his hands. And then Ilioni up the side.
Out of the gap. I'll give you a mark, out of the gap. Get out of the gap.
More than 15 minutes to go as Finn Smith goes aerial, tries to connect with Seabrook, but it's Leicester ball. Pollard made sure of that.
I think Radwan's a bit lucky there. Ran a bit of a blocking line.
No, it's been a contest there.
Short range carry.
Not every ruck, please. Not every ruck.
Hendy's in position. And then he wriggles away. Wet shirt, all of a sudden his friend, as Leicester tried to grasp and didn't.
Just watch Montoya here and how he sees it unfolding and the opportunity, and he hangs out of the tackle, and he knows exactly when to go in and make this. It's brilliant from Hendy. Gets away from his support a bit. And he hangs back, bang. Straight in on the ball. Good lift in front of the referee, maintains his weight.
There you are. Please keep him on you.
Leicester change. It's the last we've seen of Solomon Akata tonight. Izzy Parise on in his stead. Montoya, Leicester's captain. Turning into the night of all nights for them here. It would be if they can score one more try. Cracknell. The forwards left and right. Go left and employ Wells.
No, 21!
Cracknell again. Ready to roll up his sleeves. Hunger did well not to put his hands on that ball. That would have been a penalty. Stewart tackled once again by the tireless Finn Smith. Radwan. Henderson.
Tackle!
Cracknell. Lots of Leicester hammer at the moment, making a great deal of distance, and now they've lost possession.
Seem happy just to run through the phases, to almost run the clock down there, Leicester, didn't they? I know it's got wetter, but in that first half we were seeing plenty of little tip-on passes from those forwards. Happy to run into brick walls.
Ben Youngs is getting ready to join us.
Time off.
Nobody knows more about this match than him. This would be a record-extending 31st East Midlands derby for him. And now we do have the podcast duo on. Ben Youngs and Dan Cole can have a little episode of their own in the middle of the match.
There's a reason. That's why I've gone time off as soon as I could.
Still trying to persuade Luke Green to subscribe to the podcast. He didn't seem overly keen.
To be fair, Dan Cole has been so annoying to him since he's come on.
Clipped off the top by Coles. James, Smith, Tom Pearson. Dingwall, Smith, some acceleration here, some proper threat. This is Hafar. Those who played for England there against Ireland not so long ago. That's gone forwards. For those of you keeping count, that's the 20th handling error. And about the 200th time we've seen a Northampton face full of frustration.
Tiger scrum. Tiger scrum.
Probably worth looking at what this has done to the top of the Guinness Premiership right now. Sale leading at Kingston Park 34-10, so a big win for them is taking them up to 5th. Leicester at the moment 3rd. They're not going to go above Bristol even if they do score that 4th try because of the points difference, but you can see how tight it is. Saracens and Harlequins at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow. You can watch that with us.
I love the Gallagher Premiership, don't you?
I do, yes. One of my favourite ones.
What did I call it?
A beer brand that doesn't sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good beer brand, to be fair. I do like it.
What did I say?
You get it in Ireland a lot.
The Guinness Premiership.
Yeah. Freudian, Nick. Freudian. I'll have a cheeky one with you there later.
I've been involved in that other competition too much over the last couple of months. Meantime,
good hit.
Seabrook. Run ended.
Take him back in.
Smith's kick. He doesn't chase it though because he knows that this is coming straight back at him. Pollard.
Along with Freddie Stewart.
That's got a lot of height. Hendy goes up and then he's hit by Stewart. Finds Smith.
No, he's in line with him.
Ram over the top. Pollard. Oh, that's a clever kick. That is a lovely kick. And Hassel-Collins might be the favourite here. The pace of the man. Oh, that close.
Before the line.
Just wonder whether he could have just dived on the ball.
Yeah, and slid. I think the work rate of Liebenberg, though, to work back at this late in the game.
He's been incredible again.
There he is again. He's getting ahead of some real pace as well.
1 and 5.
That's Dingwall he's in front of. Like you said, he's beaten the cover. Just wants one more bounce, doesn't he? Just it actually dies backwards on him, the ball. It's what does him. But Leicester not scored a try since the 12th minute, Nick. We spoke about that kick in front of the posts. 23-0 would still be a good position now, even if you hadn't got the try over.
Yep, you're right. Just the 3 points so far in this second half. Those points you're talking about. Pollard kick. Leicester changes. Nicky Smith has been replaced by James Whitcomb. Harry Wells off for Com Jussin.
Bring your remaining front row replacements on to give that extra power you always get in your first scrum. Bang on Northampton's line there, put in. Leicester will go all out here, probably wouldn't mind conceding a penalty just to give themselves the best chance of getting one the other way.
Montoshera off, Clare on.
Loose head collapse.
Penalty against James Whitcomb.
Loose head collapse.
Just a bit more than 10 minutes to go. Game gone for Saints. For Leicester, however, still that elusive fourth try. Spoil their weekend if they don't get it, but how much sweeter it would be if they do. Henry Walker is Northampton's new hooker, and he picks out Kemeny initially. Taken on by the live wire Pollock. Odendahl. Smith sized up the pass. Seabrook. Stewart came forwards. Coles. Smith. Some pretty tired-looking chase, but Hassel-Collins to Pollard. Oh, that's gone forwards.
Forward pass.
Again, he tries to break the cover, doesn't he, by taking it really flat and on the angle.
Yes.
Just holds on to it too long, I think.
Time off. Yeah, he's got blood. Time off.
And who's in front of it again? Liebenberg. Leicester back row have had a good game, haven't they? Cracknell's carried really well for them into traffic repeatedly.
Yeah, that's the mark.
Leicester are going to get in that top four. I think that man will have a big part to play in it.
Well, only once previously have Northampton failed to score a point in a Premiership derby against the nearest and dearest. That was 20 years ago, and some have decided they've seen enough.
I think I got 2 tries in that game.
Oh, that was the first team.
Oh, see. Oh.
Use it.
Ben Young's in his crisp white replacement shirt.
Yeah, 52
Woodward.
is on.
Just like to see Woodward at 12 for Leicester today. The kick with a little bit too much beef on it, maybe a lot too much beef.
Looks dead. We'll go back all the way.
And they will go back all the way, despite the best efforts of Woodward to turn it into something a bit more worthwhile.
Just in front of 10, I think. Yeah, touches the whitewash there.
It's a big vote of confidence for him, isn't it, that they've kept him on, taken Katter off.
Kick dead.
Reese didn't start.
He's only 21, introducing himself to the Premiership for the first time this season. Whenever we've seen him, he's been impressive.
Yeah, we're good to go. Start building and I'll hurry them up.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go,
yeah, thank you.
Well, this has increasingly felt like a firework display where the organisers put all the big ones up in the first 12 minutes. Since Cracknell's 12th minute try for Leicester, their third, all we've had are 3 Andre Pollard penalties and about 5,000 Northampton knock-ons. And a pile of Northampton frustration, but very little added to the scoreboard. It'll do just as it is right now for Leicester, particularly, as we keep saying, there was one more try to come, but the next try might be a Northampton one. Smith felt that he had to get rid of that ball and picked up by Parise.
Tackle now! Let it go, safe!
Come.
Pollard. Stewart inside his 22, but he got the bounce.
It's a really nice exit, that, Nick, because it gives you options. If you get the ball into Stewart's hands and someone's bit in, he's got the option to run. He's got Radwan on the outside, real gas and pace. He scored tries from there. He just kicked the ball out willy-nilly, and you don't look at that opportunity. It's always a waste for my money. So I quite like that style of play. Yes, it's got a little bit more risk to it, but it's got a lot more reward too.
It's something that when Harlequins won under Conor O'Shea, they did all the time, didn't they? Got to that wider channel, looked up to see whether the fullback was standing deep or whether he'd had to come up and close the line, and reacted accordingly.
Joseph Woodward has finally given way to the Fijian Ben Vola. He's on to play his part in this East Midlands derby for the first time.
Another handling error.
Liebenberg. Youngs. This is Jussin.
Over. No hands.
Clare looking eager. Runs into Coles. Pollard. Stewart. Leicester have had precious little time in this area with their hands on the ball in this second half. Cracknell again. He has worked his socks off tonight.
It's 19 carries he's made.
Pollard, Liebenberg. Leicester looking if they can get the ball away for the fourth, but that's gone forwards. Adam Radwan was screaming for it as he came up to offer the support as quickly as he could.
Oh, what's he doing?
That's given away. It's Clare! Gift wrapped in Tigers colours. Oh, it's just been the worst of all weekends for Saints supporters. The best of weekends for those north of the border.
Pollock's so eager, isn't he, to just do something, get it going. It's a dreadful pass. They all end up at 6s and 7s. It just bounces into his hands gratefully. And over he goes for the bonus point, out of nothing.
Hand row.
3 handling errors
I don't know what they were saying to
down
each
in their
other.
own 22 there, Saints, and every time they got an opportunity to relieve the pressure, they made another one. As you said, Nick, completely gift wrapped tonight for Tigers.
Pollard eating as many of those seconds as he can, and Leicester have 33, and if things stay as they are, this will be Leicester's biggest ever win in an East Midlands derby, and they're not so much as walking out of Franklin's Gardens as charging out the home fans. They have seen more than enough tonight.
Time on. Coming off the back.
Johnny Wyman is coming on to make his Premiership debut for Saints. He's on for Tom James. In the absence of Alex Mitchell, England's under-20 scrum half is with us.
It's gone forward. He's in line with him.
I don't think I've ever seen Northampton make so many mistakes.
We've seen some marvellous performances from them here in recent years, haven't we? Some that just take your breath away with the pace of play that they've played at. I don't think I've ever seen them play this badly.
25 handling errors. And that lot can't get out of the ground quickly enough.
Yeah, the Saints go marching out.
Crouch! Bind!
Can you imagine that Leicester's priority now is to give them nothing, keep them scoreless?
Yeah, now you've got the bonus point.
Well, it's safe to say you can do the player of the match now, and Liebenberg has been absolutely outstanding everywhere, all over the pitch. 3 intercepts, Cracknell's carrying has been a massive factor in this, but I think the point of difference tonight was when Leicester ignited their attack in those first 12 minutes, and that was all down to Jack Van Poortvliet. He is our Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
He's got a big run into the end of the season. You talk about bolters. Scrum half position is not nailed on, I don't think, in that Lions team. Do you?
Jameson Gibson Park, yeah.
Yeah, I know he's the favourite, but they're going to take 3.
We've been talking about the Lions tonight like people who've had 4 or 5 pints. I mean, we've just been...
Well, you even mentioned one of the pints halfway through, so don't you start.
On the 5, please.
I'm trying to think if there's a player in the Premiership that we've not mentioned in terms of the Lions.
Well, he's taking both fullbacks from...
Yeah, it's a squad of 307.
3 fullbacks related to these 2 squads.
The British and Irish Lions left for Australia this morning on their 8 jumbo jets.
I suggest they all go. Andy Nicol got to play, I'm being told, whilst he was walking up a bridge last time.
90 seconds to go here.
Backwards.
There's Vola Youngs approaching the 80th minute. Hassel Collins says to Northampton, you need to do it from distance if you're going to do it. And all they can do now is score a try, and that will offer scant war.
It's the Saints player slowing it down.
It's another one.
.26 handling errors now for Saints. Still just the 5 for Leicester. Oh, sorry, no, 8 for Leicester now.
It's a collision sport. Come on, lads. Play it like it's collision sport. Come on. We're all fucking smarting out, mate. You go, lads. There you go. Let's go. You go, lads. Let's do it. Let's go. Short 2. Come on.
I think that woman was drinking a nice pint of Gallagher.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Time's up.
Use the ball!
The bell will come as a blessed relief to Northampton. They have been dreadful tonight. Leicester still looking for more. And that's gone forwards. And it seems appropriate that a knock-on ends the contest. An East Midlands derby like no other, ever. The weekend officially ruined if you are from south of the border. An East Midlands derby from the gods for Leicester. Saints whitewashed, Tigers totally dominant. Northampton 0, Leicester 33.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any Gallagher Premiership Rugby action.